Hello. Hello, good evening. Hope you're all doing well. Yes, hello. Thank you for joining me today. So today we are, well, Wednesday streams are a bit more laid back. So we're not going to be playing anything today. Let me just make sure that everything's working correctly. I did take some time before the stream to set everything up. So in theory, we should be alright. But let's just see. Shall we? Zoop. There we are. So, we're continuing with our Duolingo. As you can see, I kind of let my streak dip a bit. But you know, we're aiming for just like a couple of spikes. I was doing some more about me. Let's just move on to a new topic. Let's do some travel. Oh, hang on. I've not forgot to unmute the
bus.
Yeah, you should be able to hear it in the chat now. Or on the stream, rather. Okay. Planer. Planer.
No car.
Airplane. This word bothers me. An airplane or a car. Trainer.
Planer. No bus.
An aeroplane or a bus.
Ha Callum a chean.
Callum is coming?
Chean.
Yeah, a cheen.
And to leave bussichen Olive.
Do you like buses, Professor? Do you like buses? Bussichen.
Istalum trainichen.
I like trains. Hi, Paul. Paul is Furfur. Thank you for joining me. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Ha trainichen lua.
Lua. Trains are fast.
Station Glevoor.
A station? A very big station, because it's not got the verb. So it's just a very big station. Bus. Station. Station. Uish. A bus. Bus, right? It's just bus.
Hami a cluinging trainer.
I am hearing a train. A cluinging meaning hearing. Cluinging.
Ha iet a cheen.
They are coming. There we go.
Ha trainichen sparsal.
Trains are fun, right?
Sparsal. Ha trainer a cheen.
A train is coming. Check. The red bus is at the station. Okay, bus Jedek. Ek. And station. Sorry, say that again. Station. The bus is in a station. Bus. Aun. Station. Aun and station. What? Oh, okay. Yeah. No, got it. The bus is in a station. Bus. Aun and station. There we go. Because I was confusing this for The construction aunen is a bit interesting because usually un is the definite article. So un station means the station, but aunen station means in a station. So that's what confused me a bit. Well, we got some lingots and a 1-day streak. No thanks, please. No thanks. We'll do all of travel, and then we'll do all of names. Card. Bate.
Ha een bate aan een Afrika Aegis.
The boat is in South Africa.
Gaidhlig Arling.
Gaidhlig Arling.
Gaidhlig.
Oh, just lovely. Gaidhlig Arling. Gaidhlig Arling.
Chanel na carichen Aegis.
The cars aren't coming. The cars are not coming. Achin being coming and Nakarichen being the plural of cars.
Ha mi Gaidhlig a falav.
Gaidhlig a falav. Leave. Gaidhlig. I am just leaving.
Ha shoch dur.
I think dur is expensive because it's like deer. Well, it's a bit of a sort of antiquated use of the word deer. I mean, I guess some people in some parts of the world do still use it. This is so expensive.
And raw and tool sur.
And raw was the tool.
Ual.
Apple. Was the apple. Sur is cheap. Sur. The opposite of dur is expensive and sur is cheap.
A vele sur.
Vel e sur. Sur. Falav.
Ha I Gaidhlig a falav.
Ha'idirach a falav. She is just leaving.
Falav.
There we go.
Ha sin Gaidhlig a falav.
As we are just leaving. There we go.
Ha na carichen Aegis.
The cars are coming.
Chanel guga dur.
Guga. What's that? Is that salted gannet? Is not expensive.
Ha na planichen gema moor.
The airplanes are really nice. No, really big. Ugh.
Ha een bate aan de barai.
The boat is in Barra.
En raw en torrenscher sur.
Oranger.
And the raw was the apple, the orange, cheap.
Ha na planichen gema moor.
Okay, we're doing this one again. We're not going to mess it up twice. The airplanes are really big. Nice. Okay, we're going to finish off
Elan.
Ellen. Excuse me. Ellen. We're going to finish off
Etiquette.
Finish off travel, and then we'll do the next thing.
En Chelan.
Stolum and Chelen. I like the island.
Nui unjakken.
Nui is 9 windows, right?
Unjakken.
Yeah.
Ha een bate a stat.
The boat is stopping?
Stat.
Stopping. like static. Ha an etiquette.
Coig Ilanen.
5 islands. Coig Elenen. Elenen.
Femimi 3 ticketchen.
I need 3 ticketchen.
Ticketchen. Kaartje vil na ticketchen.
Where
Ticketchen.
are the tickets?
Elan.
Elan.
Coig Unjaken.
5 windows.
Sur.
Sur. You can hear the
Sur.
something at the beginning of that.
3 Unjaken.
3 windows. There's lots of different numbers of windows here.
Han kaart a staat.
I'm very grateful that I'm able to say 9 windows, 5 windows, and 3 windows. And car a stat. The car is stopping.
Han je een bus a staat doundre.
The bus is not stopping, Andrew. Femi me tickets
Ticketch.
elle
Ille.
vel
Vil. Etiquette.
etiquette akket. Nice.
Ha een chillen skiën nog more.
The Isle of Skye is big. Skianoch.
Skiën nog. Ganjeel een Doris Doontje.
Chanel and Doris Doonche. Doonche is
Doonche.
closed, so the door is not closed. Okay. And Doris Doonche. Doonche.
A vil u
Cosioch.
a cosioch. No, a drivig.
Are you walking or driving?
Cosioch.
A koshach.
Ha ne helenen gria nog.
Hello, John Gazebo. Thank you for joining me today. Ha na Helenen Grianoch. The islands are sunny.
Sjaalder Katriane.
Look at Katrina. Air.
Sjaalder de pleinetje en ish.
Shell. Sorry. I've been feeling very tired today, yawning a lot. But I'll get there. I'll muddle my way through it. So
Sjaalder de pleinetje en ish. Pleinetje.
look at the planes now.
Gara een nunjak voskeltje.
Fosculture is the opposite of Dunya. So
Voskeltje.
Fosculture. Charo. The window was not open. Charo and Unyak Fosculture. Dude.
Istalum en chillen skiën nog.
I like the Isle of Skye. Ha and Unyak Fosculture.
En tolat en chillen skiën nog.
Tol Lat and Chelenski. Oh, do you like the Isle of Skye?
Ha ne helenen guhoch.
Guhoch. Windy, presumably. The islands are windy. Can't really be any of these other ones.
En Doris Doontje.
The closed door.
Va Anne a drivig fisker in G.
Anna was driving yesterday afternoon. Fisker afternoon and G
G.
yesterday. Oh, hang on.
G.
Okay, no, it's saying yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening. Okay. Anna was driving yesterday afternoon. Ha
Ha.
in Hunyak. Fosculture.
Fosculture.
Fosculture. Va Beth a dreifig Martin and J.
Va.
Behak.
Behak.
Behak. A dreifig
Dreifig.
Martin
Martin.
and J.
G.
There we go. Another perfect one. Look at us, gold star. Okay, let's go on to names.
Fisker med Patrick.
Good afternoon, Patrick. Patrick.
Patrick Snock.
Patrick. Nice Patrick. Patrick Snock. That would be a good nickname to have.
Kibaraha u Chalum.
How are you, Callum? Kimerahau Achalum.
Tapele the Haramuch.
Thank you, Norman. Norman becomes Turamet, which, when put into the vocative case, becomes a
Haramach.
A Horamich.
Martin va a Hamish.
Good morning, James.
Haniel Callum Boch.
Boch. I think that's bad or something. Poor.
Boch.
Oh, ill. Poor or ill. Okay. Daniel Callum Boch. Callum is not poor.
Ha Taramat Irvirin in Jew.
Norman is Edvidden.
Virin.
Excited. Edvidden. Norman is excited today.
Nachel Taramat Idbirin.
Torment I Viren.
Nachel Taramat Idbirin.
A vil Seamus Kutrumach.
Is James
Kutrumach.
important? Kutramach.
Boch.
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 Ovov. Callum Boch.
Oh dear. Poor Callum.
Ovov. Callum Boch.
It sounds so sarcastic when he says it.
Ovov. Callum Boch.
Of. Callum Boch.
Kibaraha u Patrick.
How are you, Patrick?
Eiche va a Haramach.
Good evening. Oh, good night, Norman.
Ha Patrick Idbirin.
Patrick is excited? Nope, Patrick where?
Eiche va a Hamish.
That's good evening, or good night, James. Alright, bring on, little bird. Vulture,
Val Taramat.
a Callum.
Callum.
That one would have been incredibly easy if I hadn't just misclicked. Daniel Seamus Kutramach.
H. Kutramach.
Nice. Well done, us. Alright, let's move on to lesson 2. Ismisha William.
Ulam.
I am William.
Ikke Sheikh Ulam.
Hick a shech. Come here. Right? Come in. Hick a shech.
Stjach.
A shech. Come in, William. Talking to him over the radio.
Ulam Kerst.
Come in, William. Wait, sorry. Avel William
Ulam.
Kerst.
Evel Ulam Kerst.
Yeah, is William right?
Evel wan a Glasgow a Nush.
Are you in Glasgow? I think that's Angus, probably. Are you in Glasgow, Angus? Hello, dear. Thank you for joining me. You're not too late. You haven't missed too much. Just more of the same, really. So that's
A nurse.
a nurse. That's weird. That seems weird to me. A nurse.
A nurse.
Angus is important.
Catch a value, Eowyn.
Where are you? Oh, okay. Well, the hazelnuts are coming in thick and fast early in the stream now. Right. Drinkies. Catchavelu. Where are you? Ewan? Right?
Eowyn.
Ewan. Ewan or Owen?
Chanel Eowyn Gorach.
Ewan is not stupid.
Goroch.
Gorach. Chaniel.
Chan.
Ewan. Ewan.
Eowyn.
Ewan.
Shit the vehe, William.
You are welcome, William. Shedoveha literally means it's your life. Which is, you know, if you say thank you, it's like, it's your life. Which is
Kimmer how, Eowyn.
strange. How are you? Didn't we just have this one? How are you, Ewan?
Catch a value, a nurse.
Oh no, we had where are you? And this is where are you, Angus? Anush.
A value a fudach aan de nuist, a lady.
Oh, okay. Are you
Vildoch.
living in or staying in Uist,
Lodis.
Flora? Are you living in Uist, Flora?
Ha William Godoyer.
William is well. Godoyle.
Doyle.
Oh, really well. William is really well.
We willen aan de stjerne waar Eowyn.
Are you in Stornoway, Ewan?
He me a reissue, William.
I will see you again. Or see you again. See you later. William. Himi arist you.
Reist.
Yeah,
Reist.
literally means Himi arist you. Literally means I'll see you again. See you later.
Chanel een neus kutremach ichet.
Chaniel Inus Kutramach. Angus is not important at all. Oh, poor Angus.
Neus kutremach.
That's important, Angus. You see, the reason he has that nickname is... Oh, thank you for the gift sub, Aftons. That's very generous of you. Chan
Chan.
Yel Johan
Eowyn.
Goroch
Goroch.
Ichet
Ichet.
Evel Join Goroch Goroch. Aw, thanks, Aftons. Aw, aren't you sweet? I should really come up with like some better rewards for people who are actually willing to spend their hard-earned cash on little old me. But no, I do appreciate it. I do. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Vil Join Goroch. There we go. Another perfect one. We're doing so well tonight. Alright. Let's start lesson 3.
A rode ingenieur.
Rory is interesting. Rory.
Gleva Neil.
Very good, Neil. Is that Neil or Niall?
Neil.
How's that pronounced? Oh, Niall or Neil? Niall or Niall or Neil?
Gabalishkal Rudy.
Excuse me, Rory. Gav my leshkel. Accept my half story. Neil is excited.
Hadil Katrina Sluta Hai Lua.
Katrina is not slow.
Slúdach.
She is fast. She is very fast. Oh, okay. Norman is so slow. Ha toramet chosleutoch. It's that one.
Merta Neach Rudy.
Congratulations. Mel
Meow.
Mialdoneach. Mialdoneach.
Neach.
Congratulations, Rory. Cheers. Sláinte, Rudy.
Gabalishkal Nail.
Excuse me, Neil. Rory is fun. Ha Rudy. Sporsel.
What a tiny nail.
Many thanks, Neil. Ha Rudy Inchenach.
Hadil Callum Sluta Hai Lua.
Lua.
So that's again. Callum is not slow. He is fast. Ha Katrina cho sleutoch, like that. Ha Neil Erviren is excited. Erviren. Stupid Neil. Neil Goroch. Congratulations, Neil. Mial do
Nayach.
Neoch.
Nayach.
Nayach. A nail. Because it needs to be in the vocative case. Gaelic doesn't have very many cases. I think pretty much the only ones it has are
Three shots big.
Little Fraser. I found a great Twitter account the other day. It was pointed to me by somebody who does really fantastic voiceover videos. It's called Smaller Columbo, and it's just tweets from if the detective Columbo was just
Nothing
really
bad,
tiny,
English.
and it's just adorable and wholesome. I'm just thinking about Smaller Columbo. Martin Vat. Good morning, Fergus. Good morning, Fergus.
Tarabat Glicht.
Clever Norman.
Bleak.
Clever Norman.
Kibara How Inlay.
Eonlich. Oh, that's Finley. How are you, Finley? How are you, horrible Finley? I'm joking. Finley's probably lovely. How are you, Frazier?
Hadil Shin Kerskadea or Rishal.
Chan Yel Shin
Kerst.
Gulior. Gulior.
Ljor.
Say the last bit again.
Hadil Shin Kerskadea or Rishal.
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 There we go. That's not okay, Fraser. That is not.
Half
Not
Yulmach. Agus Taramat in show.
So Finley and Norman are here.
Afaragus Gdemach.
Fergus Greanoch. Grumpy, right? Fergus is grumpy.
Hadil Taramat Glicht.
Norman is not clever. Norman is not clever. Not a clever Norman.
Fisker Ma Eragish.
Good afternoon, Fergus.
Shed the Vare Inlay.
You're welcome, Finley. You are welcome, Finley. It is your life, Finley.
Afdishal Karjal.
Carsgil. Friendly, right? Like Karach? Fraser is friendly.
Afdishal Karjal.
Yeah.
Jetala Dishal.
What is going on, what's happening? What's poppin'? What other things do people say? What's occurring? What's going on, Fraser?
Nachil Feragus Coinal.
Coinel. Ooh. So that isn't Fergus. Coinel. I don't remember that one. Coinel.
Kainal.
Kind. Okay. Isn't Fergus kind? Good.
Afiulacho Injinich.
A Finley is so interesting. Finley is so interesting. Come on, bird. Show me what you got. Finley and Norm. Okay, Ha. Finley. Agus. Tournament. And Shaw.
Show.
Avel.
Fergus.
Fergus. And Shaw.
Show.
There we go. Lovely. Doing very well. Okay. I want to get all the things blue and then just like move on to more stuff. So let's do feelings too.
Haniluski. Hamishiski.
Oh, that's you're not sleepy. I'm sleepy. You are not tired. I am tired. Misha is the emphatic version. You add the sh bit at the end. If you want to really emphasize that, it's me. So Haniluski, Hamishiski.
Avil and Chikalost.
And Chekel. Oh, what is that? Chekel. And Chekel.
Ekel.
Yeah. Are you scared? Here's an interesting fact about this construction. This doesn't literally mean are you scared or are you frightened? Like a lot of things in Gaelic, illnesses is the same, and I know for a fact that depression is traumeinchen, which is heavy-mindedness or like a mind weight. You don't they're not things that you feel; they're things that are on you. And quite interestingly, the further north you go, people don't say, I'm frightened. They say things like, it gives me the fear. And yeah, I just think it's an interesting sort of regional variation. Oops. Oh no. I accidentally refreshed the page. Oh. That's fine. Hantakras. I remember that one. That's I am hungry. But again, look, Hantakras Odom. That Odom is on me. So it's not, I am hungry. It's hunger is on me. Hunger is upon me. I have the hunger.
Ha and Chickle Odom.
I am scared. I have the fear. Avel and Chekel Orst.
Coffee Lack.
Lack. I guess that's weak coffee, right?
Lack.
Yeah.
Hanilufluch. Hamishefluch.
Fluch. Is that... that's wet. You are not wet. I am wet. You call that a knife? That's a knife. Hat and chi. Lack. The T is weak.
Hamigle Larchet.
T's weak. I'm spaghetti. Hamigle larged. What's that one? Strong.
Larchet.
I'm very strong. Hamigle larged.
Gris Orst Avorak.
Gres Orst. Ooh, okay. Hurry up. Gres.
Gris.
Hurry up, Morag.
Ha mi láitir agus bria.
Bria.
I'm strong and... Is this nice? No, what is this? Pretty. Strong and pretty.
Ha I bóiach.
Ha I boioch. She is beautiful.
Bóiach.
Chanelu trang. Ha misha trang.
A bhfuil an tacras ort.
Are you hungry? Do you have the hunger? Dva and takras orum.
Ha bóiach.
You are beautiful. And that's not just me answering the question. You are beautiful.
Ha mi láitir agus glích.
I am strong and clever.
Gris orsta ruari.
Hurry up, Rory. Ha I boioch.
Bóiach.
Boioch. Gres
Gris.
orst
Orst.
nail.
Nail.
Nope. A nail.
Nail.
Because it's the vocative. Yay, we did it! Okay. So that was Feelings 2, Episode 1.
Usa.
You. So that's the emphatic. U is the normal. THU is normally U. But then the SA is the emphatic version. So Misha, Usa, Essen, I think.
Dunje uavasach.
Dunya Uasoch. Say that again.
Uavasach.
A terrible person. Uavasoch.
A bhfuil an pag ort.
Are you thirsty?
Pag.
Yeah, again, it's do you have thirst?
A bhfuil an yerach ort.
And yerek. Is that anger?
Erach.
Yeah. Are you angry?
Chanil an chical orn.
Orn. Okay, so that's we. So it's we aren't scared. We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one.
Chanil misha fuad a henner. Ha sheev she fuad.
I'm not cold, teacher. No, father. No, grandfather. You
Sheeveshe.
are cold. What a weird sentence to say to your grandfather. I'm not cold, you're cold. This whole courtroom's cold.
Orn.
Orn.
Chanil mi donna. Ha usa donna.
I'm not bad, you're bad. I get the feeling whoever recorded these lines is very
Ha
defensive.
usa donna. Chanil misha fuad, Olive. Ha sheev she fuad.
And again, Chaniel Misha Fuad,
Fuad.
Hashiv Shafuad,
Sheev she. Fuad.
Olive.
Chanil misha fuad, Olive. Ha
I know.
sheev she fuad.
There we go.
Fuad. Ha shen uavasach.
That is terrible.
Usa a riish javorak.
Oh, I'm hydrating again. Gonna have to top up my water in a bit. Usa Arish. You again? Morag? Hello, Power Dog. Thank you for joining me. Very good to have you here.
Ha shao uavasach.
This is terrible.
Ha an yerach
And Yerek. You are angry.
Ha an pag orm.
That's thirst. I am thirsty. Right? And takras is hunger. And pag is thirst.
Ha Nyera got him.
Oh, he actually put some like appropriate emotion into that. I am angry. We are not scared. So that's Chaniel. What's fear? And Chekel. Yeah. Chaniel
Il.
and Chekel.
Ikov.
Orn. There we go. Chaniel and Pag Orm.
Il. Pag.
Autumn.
There we go. Lovely.
Isha Riist.
Yeah, Isha is she. So her again.
Essen.
Him. Yeah, so Isha, Misha, Usa, Essen, Isha.
Grisiv Uruv. Ahar.
Aggressive. Let's hurry. Hurry up.
Grisiv.
Hurry up. Father.
Hadra got him.
Drug.
Drug.
Worried. I am worried. And again, worry is upon me.
Ha en krachten
Kraten. He
Kraten.
has a cold. Or he has the cold.
Va en krachten
Sva and Kraten.
Ir.
This is interesting as well. The CN here, there's a lot of consonant clusters in Gaelic which are consistently pronounced in a way which you wouldn't quite expect, and CN is one of them. It's never kn, it's kr. So kraten.
Va en krachten
Kraten.
Ha Kavak got it.
Kavak. Order. I guess it's she is in a hurry, right? That's the one that makes sense. Kavak.
Kavak.
Knatten.
Knatten. There we go.
Grisiv Uruv. A henner.
Aggressive Orif. A hinder. I'm doing very well, thank you for asking, Power Dog. I think everybody in the chat is enjoying, well, hopefully enjoying themselves, but I won't put words in their mouths. I'll let Duolingo put words in my mouth instead. Aggressive Orif. A hinder. Hurry up, Grandad.
Kavak. Vatra got him.
I was worried. Avel Kavak Order.
Vil en krachten
Does he have the cold? Is that weird? We don't really say that in English, do we? And kraten. Like, we'd say the flu, but in general we say a cold. Is that weird? I don't know. He has the cold. Does he have the cold?
Vtragost.
Are you worried?
Essen Kuchok.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's called the common cold, but we don't really say, I have the cold. You say, I have a cold. Right? Eisen Kuchok. Him. 2.
Vov. Isha Kuchok.
Oh dear. Her as well. Yeah. I guess it's just one of those weird things. Avel.
Vil.
Kavak.
Wait, Avel. Kavak. Isha. No, that doesn't sound right. Avel. Oh, okay. Order. Of course. Order. Yeah. Hurry up, Ian and Anna. Aggressive.
Aggressive.
Orif.
Orif.
Ian.
Ian.
Is.
Is.
Anna.
Anna.
Lovely. Another perfect one. Okay, one more lesson. Which of these is love? Girl.
Girl.
Hadruk is Michael.
Michael is worried. Ha. Girl. So this is actually one of my favorite constructions in Gaelic. To say I love you, what you actually say is ha girl akam orsht, which literally means my love is on you, or you have my love. And it's just so beautiful. Ha girl akam orsht. It's great. I love it. I love that construction. You know, say to the ones you care about, you have my love.
Ha grania cymir.
Grania. 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 I hate him.
Gran.
Okay, Grania. Guess that makes sense.
Gran.
He has my hate, or my hate is upon him.
A vil yn tacrys yrf y charstion.
Are you hungry, friends? You know, it's a good thing to ask if you're thinking about ordering a pizza or something.
Ha grania cymorst.
Ha gran acum orst.
Orst.
Oh. Never say this to somebody. This is bad. This is... I hate you.
Ha yn jejig is column.
In Jejich. In Jejich. Toothache.
Jejig. Jejig.
Callum has toothache. Callum has a toothache.
Ham pa gora.
Order. They are thirsty. Han takris order.
Ha yn ierak is Michael.
Michael is angry. Ha yn Yerek.
Erak.
Ha yn Yerek Michael.
Ha yn ierak is Michael.
Michael.
Yerek.
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 Ha yn tacrys yrf y charstion.
You are hungry, friends.
Y vil yn chickle yrf y charstion.
And Checkle. Are you scared, friends? Oops. Keep accidentally right-clicking.
Ha cavac is Michael.
Kavak. Michael is in a hurry. Michael is in a porridge. Hurry is in a porridge. Michael is in a hurry.
Ha yn jejig is Anna.
Anna has toothache.
Chanel grania cymorst.
Chaniel Gran. Oh, I don't hate you. I do not hate you. They are not hungry. Chaniel
Chan.
and Tacrus.
Acrys.
Order.
Ora.
No. Order? Yes, Orav is the other one we're being offered. Yeah, so it's Orm, Orst, Ed, Order, Orn, Orav, Order. So yeah, it's this one. Hagel, Akam,
Acum.
Orst,
Orst.
William.
William.
Aw, very sweet. I love you, William. Excellent. And now, countries. I always find it really interesting.
Kill.
Kill. A Jeramalch.
Ha a Yeremolch Arling.
Germany is lovely. I always find it really interesting to see what different languages call countries, because like, are they going to be based on what the countries call themselves or what other countries call each other?
Ha I ffwr an yn Innis Chile.
It's cold in Chile. I guess that's Iceland.
Chile.
It is cold in Iceland.
Ha a fib vor arling.
Fibvor. So that's the
Vor.
the Highland bagpipes. Okay, the Highland bagpipes are lovely. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with you on that. I personally like them,
a
but
fudach on an elan vanning.
Hashin. Okay, so we are staying in the Isle of Man. We live in the Isle of Man.
Ha forlein mor gedior.
I guess that's Poland. Poland is big enough. You know, as the Polish cowboys always say, Poland is big enough for the two of us.
Vami ounce the forlein.
I'm in Poland. I was in Poland. Not am.
Hami ounce a chumri.
I'm in Wales. Chumri.
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 A chumri. Kutramach.
Chumri.
Wales is
Cwtramach.
important? Yeah, Wales is important.
Vami ounce a chumri.
I was in Wales.
Antallert a fib vor.
Do you like the Highland bagpipes? Do you, dear viewer?
Kjol agus bieg.
Kjol, music and food. Music and food.
Istallum a fib vor.
Istolum a fibor. I like the Highland bagpipes.
Hai dorige on an inish Chile.
Ha I dorige. So that's dorige. Ha I dorige. Dorige. I guess that's dark.
Dorige.
Yeah, it is dark in Iceland. I mean, some of the year, sure.
Ha iet te fudach on an inish Chile.
Ha iad a furach. They are living in Iceland. Ha mi a furach. Aunen Ellen Vanin. Ha mi
Me.
a furach.
Fudach.
Aunen.
An.
No, ounce and
An.
Ellen
Ellen.
Vanin. Oh no, it is Aun. I messed up. There are brilliant cats in the Isle of Man. Catch
Ca.
Sconiel,
Skynyal.
Aun and
An.
Ellen
Elan.
Vanin.
Vanning.
Hami a furach.
Me.
Furach.
Fudach.
Aun and
An.
Ellen Vanin.
Vanning.
There we go. Lovely. 1 out of 5. 20% of the way. A Greg. A Greg.
Ha alapanuag gleinoch.
Nova Scotia is very nice. I would quite like to visit Nova Scotia at some point. Sorry, just got distracted. The sky looks clear outside, but rain's coming down pretty heavily.
Ha velig fluch.
Oh, and that's a rumble of thunder going on. Wow. Havelic. Belgium. Belgium is wet.
Kaartjevil a clown and Jew.
Where are the children today? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, Galileo. That's enough of that. Oh, I'm hydrating again. I've actually run out of water, so I'll finish this lesson and I'll go and fill up my cup again. Avel a clown ionnsachadh. Are the children in school?
Cruv agus tui.
Cruv agus farm and a house? No, is that a tree? A tree in a
Cruv.
house. Oh, I'm stretching as well. Ah. Don't know if that's going to pick up on mic. It's rumbling quite loudly. Cruv agus tai.
Va ro ata.
It was 2. I remember raw. Raw is 2, so it was too long.
Va a Portugal ma hain.
Va a Portugal mahain. Portugal was excellent.
Knock.
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 Ha erin glé knock.
Ireland is very nice.
Va a chruv art.
Va a chruv.
Cruv.
No, sorry.
Chruv. Va a chruv art.
The tree was tall.
Mor an tainge vædig.
Many thanks, Myri.
An taluif
Sorry.
grek a charstin.
Do you like Grease, friends? Yes, it's my favourite musical. I've never actually seen Grease. I know a couple of the songs, but
Ha
I've never watched the
velig
actual show.
arling.
Belgium is lovely. Okay, I'm actually going to have to... After this, I'm going to have to close my window as well. Because it's coming down very heavily.
Ha mi a gutch cruv.
A gutch. Gutch, cruv. A gutch.
Gutch.
What? Huh? I am stealing a tree? Hami a gutch cruv. Cool. I'm stealing a tree.
A vil a clown and sho kuchoch.
From what I remember about Greece, is the moral of the story is that you should change yourself. So guys, well, I don't think that's true, because I think wasn't John Travolta into Olivia Newton-John before she changed herself, right? Like they had a whole will they won't they thing going on even before she had her makeover. I don't know. Like I say, I've never seen it, but good evening, Burrick. You just missed us learning the Gaelic for Ireland is very nice. Avel a clown and Shaw Kuchok. Are the children here as well? Where is Belgium? Kaatjevel. Kaatje.
Kaatje.
Avel.
Vil.
Avelg.
Willy.
Oh, you did the lighting. I read that's lightning because I was just thinking about rumbling of thunders. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't think anyone in any of our school productions actually got a chance to do the lighting or whatever. Ha.
Ha.
A Portugal.
Portugal.
Glé. No. Really. Inchenoch.
Ingenia.
Guma.
Ma.
No. Guma Inchenoch. Ugh. Portugal is really interesting. Okay. Ha.
Ha.
A Portugal.
Portugal.
Guma Inchenoch.
Ingenia.
Well, there we go. We got it in the end. Okay, so I actually am going to go quickly and top up my water and close my window so that the rain doesn't get in. So yeah, we'll just take like a quick 2-minute break and then I'll be back. Okay, and then we'll continue with countries. So see you soon. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing very well. I closed my window, but I left my curtains open because I personally love the sound of rain, so even if you can't hear it, I'm going to enjoy it. Oh, thunder's rumbling so violently. Very interesting, very interesting. I'm going to have to try my hardest not to get distracted. Filled up my cup of water, so if you want to redeem those hazelnuts for hydration, now's the time. And let's carry on with... Oh, hang on. I unmuted that.
Drochich.
Drochich, there we are. Drochich. In Spain. Spain.
Ha mi ounce in Spain.
I am in the Spain. Sip, sip.
Ha I fwyd ounce in Rúsh.
It's cold in Russia. Rush.
Rúsh.
Rush.
Rúsh. A vil snach ounce in Turk.
Is there snow in Turkey?
Ounce in Roin Yorpa.
Rhine Yorpa. Is that just Europe? Rhine.
Roin. Yorpa.
That's interesting.
Roin.
Huh.
Yn rad gostrilai.
The road to Stirling. Yn rad Portree. So that's the road to Portree.
Hambiag rohe.
The food was too hot. No, the food is too hot.
Van mi ounce in Rioch Unichtje.
Rioch Unichtje. So that's the United Kingdom. I was in the United Kingdom.
Hassasin ounce in Rioch Unichtje. Unichtje.
So that means
Unichtje.
England is in the United Kingdom.
Hasnach ounce in Rúsh.
There is snow in Russia.
Fashk ir in Spain.
Near Spain.
A vili guach ounce in Turk.
Wind. Is it windy? Is it windy in Turkey? Everyone knows it's windy.
Een drochich aard.
The High Bridge. The High Bridge of Lothric.
Ha a Portugal ounce in Roin Yorpa.
Portugal is in Europe. There is good weather in Turkey. Shija? Shijava. An ounce. Shijava.
Va.
Ounce and
An
Turk.
Turk.
Ha Shijava. Ounce and Turk. England is in the United Kingdom. Ha Sassin. Ounce and Rioch.
Rioch.
Unichtje.
Unichtje.
Lovely. Okay. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. 60% of the way there. Fiddle.
Feel.
Feel. Feel. Is there a difference between a fiddle and a violin? And rang? Or is a fiddle just like a colloquial term
Ha
for
mi
it?
I gober ounce in Rang.
I am working in France. Different sizes. Okay, that makes sense.
Ha mi ounce a Horn.
I am in Cornwall.
Hassassin aan een Bretain.
England is in Britain.
Yn jacket yal.
Jacket. The white jacket. En jacket. Yerek.
Ha yn Yulan. Gyma fwyd.
Finland is very cold. Really cold. It's also really nice. I went to Helsinki a while ago.
Vai ro ŵr.
It was too cold. No, too... Yeah, that is cold. It was too cold.
Ha carriage.
Yeah, no, I really like Finland.
Amsen
I'd love to go
Tued.
back. Karec Akum. My friend is in Sweden. Oh no, I have a friend in Sweden. Karec Akum Amsen
Sŵain.
Tuin. Amsen Tuin. So how would you say my friend? It's probably Ankaret Akum Amsen Tuin.
Y fel yn tŵain fwyd.
Vel and Tuin. Is Sweden
Tuin.
cold?
Fwyd. Ha y chorn arlein.
Cornwall is lovely. This message was paid for by the Tourism Board of Cornwall.
Oer.
Wood.
Oer.
Va mi y gwbydd am sy chorn.
I was working in the lab late one night.
Y nia lacet.
And you like it. Your fiddle.
Y Yulan. Sgyniad.
Finland. Brilliant. Sorry, give me one sec. Okay. All good. There is wine in France. Ha. Bleh. Fien. Ha. Fien.
Fien.
Fien. Ounsen.
An.
Rang.
Rang.
Va e ro fur. Va i, sorry.
Yulan.
Ro
Oer.
ur. Oh, and that's it. Perfect. Lovely. Okay.
Haniel
Chanel.
yn oster fasgyd yn rwys.
Austria is not close to Russia.
Chawro Elisich am y Sina y ddyf.
Riev.
Riev.
Oh, okay. Elizabeth was never in China. And Sheena.
Sina.
Here's a fun fact for everyone: the name China comes from the Qin dynasty, which was also one of the first to produce large quantities of porcelain, which is why the country China and the material China share the name. They both come from the Qin dynasty.
Ystalwm yn Yelivish.
I like. Is that Austria? Elevish.
Yelivish.
Oh no, Switzerland. What? Elevish.
Yelivish.
What does Switzerland call itself? Officially the Swiss Confederation. Helvetic. Ah, I guess that's it. The Helvetic Confederation, so that would be it. Elevish. So
Yelivish.
Elevish.
Ha mi y fechgyn awyn.
Hamir Feichkin Awin. I'm seeing
Awyn.
a river. I'm seeing a river. Ha mi a snav alnan awin. I'm swimming in a river.
Ha fi yn Jerag am sy nedarch.
Fian Jedek. There is red wine in Italy? Yeah, must be Italy.
Ystalwm y Freton Fig.
I like Great Britain. No? Britain. Vic. Oh, that's Little Britain. So that was Brittany.
Va y Freton Fig Arlen.
Va.
Va
Wait, say that again?
Va Avreton Vic Arlin.
Arlene. Okay.
Arling.
Brittany is lovely.
Avil
Or was
a
lovely.
Horn. Rovla.
Avel a Chorn Rovla wasn't. No, it was. Was Cornwall too warm? Is Cornwall too warm?
Avin.
Aveen. Wait, say
Avin.
Aveen. Oh, I guess that's like the same word as Avon, right? Vretenbeck in Irish is Wales. See, in Gaelic it's Chumri, which is, you know, based on Cymru, which is what Wales calls itself. Yeah, Little Britain is Brittany. Yeah. Because Britain is Breton is a wait, what's Gallo? A regional language of Eastern Brittany. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Brittany has also been referred to as lesser or Little Britain, as opposed to Great Britain, with which it shares an etymology. Failed verification. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Chanil and Oster, Fashkin and Rang.
Austria is not close to France. I mean, that's not true, right? Austria is quite near France.
Flaw.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, it's not, I guess it's not next to France. But, like, you only have to go through one country from France to get to Austria. Like, you only have to either go through Germany or Italy or, presume that's Switzerland.
Flaw.
Vla.
Flaw.
Charo Eva al Nashina Ariv.
Okay, Eva was never in China. Eva was never in China. Oh, Avin. Or Awin.
Hafian Gyal al Sunyetalch.
Oh. So there is also white wine in Italy, right?
Hashin al Sunyelivish.
We are in Switzerland. That's interesting. I find it interesting that, like, in a lot of languages, Switzerland is like Swiss or Switz or something, but in Gaelic it's based on Helvetic, Elivish. Very interesting. Havel a Greg ro vla. Havel a Greg ro vla.
Flaw.
There is red wine in Italy. Hafian Jadek. Ounsen.
Ha.
Fian Jadek. Ounsen.
Oun.
Edulch.
Edalch.
Edulch. Another perfect. Nice. Look at us go. We're learning so much about the wines of Italy. Oh, and I think that means we're able to take Castle 3. Okay.
Had show eentje je iets.
Okay. So I'm gonna concentrate for this one. I'm gonna put my concentrating face on. This is not interesting at all. Ha and Chekel Orn.
Vami
Fur
Fur
Røyr. What's Røyr? Last
Røyr.
night. I was cold last night. Tren.
Matin je waar, Eva.
Good morning. Eva.
Sé dy fe y rwyddi.
Sé do fethe y na or that's also wrong. That should be sé do fethe a ruari or a ruari. I think that's right. Stupid. Oh. Neil. I'm gonna have to like. Neil Goroch. They said no hints or grading, but like there are hints. You can just mouse over the words.
Hafti shall carstel.
Ha. Say again?
Hafti shall carstel. Hafti shall carstel.
I think that's right. Oh, is Misha Inish Ha Finley Agus Tormet and Shaw. How do we do? How do we do? How do we do? How do we do? How do we? We passed checkpoint 3. Yeah, baby. It would be nice if they actually gave you feedback after you'd done it. Like, so I knew, you know, how many did I get right? How many did I get wrong? But that's okay. Do I want to do more on checkpoint 2? No, let's move on. Move on to pets. Pets 2. Yeah, storm the castle in 1. Which of these a dog? Coo.
Coo.
Coo. Cat.
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 Carcheville na cage.
Where is the cat? Where are the cats, I guess? Na cage.
Park.
Park. Park.
Carcheville na coin.
Where are the dogs? And who let them out? Park Vord.
Carcheville na pettichen.
Where are the pets?
Ha mi feistjen nishak.
I am seeing the
Nishak.
Loch Ness. Okay. Well, Nishak is apparently what they call Nessie
Nishak.
in Gaelic. Nishak. Ha. Agol Ushkabeh. I guess that. Because the other two don't make sense. The Loch Ness Monster is drinking whiskey. Hakura.
Ha kura a
A
stay.
stay. A sheep is inside. Right?
Kura.
Yeah, a sheep is inside. Ha
Ha
and
an pechte
pechte.
Gidach
Gidoch
Allen.
Allen. The pet. Gidoch. The pet. I was just lovely.
Ha I a stay.
Ha
Pettichen.
eat a stay. She is
Stay.
inside.
Ha
Na cage. Croster.
The cats are cross.
Carcheville na pettichen. And Jew.
Where are the pets today?
A ville we feistjen nishak.
Are you seeing or are you watching Nessie? Wait, I know it would be are you seeing because of watches. Are you seeing the Loch Ness Monster?
Ha nishak a gol iron brew.
The Loch Ness Monster is drinking iron brew. I think that's very
Ha na
unlikely.
coin chosporsel.
Do you think they said that Nessie was drinking whiskey earlier? Do you think whiskey and iron brew would be like a good cocktail? I might try it sometime. Yeah, only one way to find out. Heart and the coin.
Nah.
Coin.
The dogs are so fun. So, I don't know if I told you this, but my little sister, for Christmas last year, I bought her some of those like coffee syrups because she wanted to make like fancy hot chocolate and whatever. One of the things I got her was almond flavored, and she was basically like, yeah, I don't think almond hot chocolate is going to be very good. Turns out it wasn't. So now we have a big thing of almond syrup that we don't really know what to do with. Now, I like to have fruit juice for my breakfast, and I got cherry juice, which even juicy cherries aren't like particularly moist. So it's weird that like cherry juice is just a weird concept, and it tasted incredibly syrupy sweet going down. But I discovered if you mix, if you have a glass of cherry juice plus vodka plus almond syrup, I call it the Cherry Bakewell cocktail, and it's really tasty. And it needs a better name. I am walking Hami a Koshach
Koshach.
Aun
Aun.
Park.
Park.
Ha
Ha.
kun je nog a stay?
Stay.
Kun je nog? Cherries up. I don't know. Rose syrup is good enough. That might be good. Because the place I got it from, they did a whole bunch of different things, and I was just like, so we've got two really good ones. Caramel syrup is excellent in hot chocolate, and hazelnut syrup is excellent in hot chocolate. But you know, I love hazelnut. I would eat hazelnut anything. Probably not actually. Like there's probably a limit to what I'd eat hazelnut in, but hazelnut hot chocolate is definitely good. But for the moment, almond hot chocolate is kind of not. Yeah, almond hot chocolate is not great. Hazelnut omelette, maybe. Bakke.
Ha een loegwik aan een bakke.
There's a small mouse, or the small mouse is in the bag. Or is in a bag. Hazelnut omelette, that actually kind of, I'm curious now. I kind of want to try that. Rattan.
Koik. Ich.
5 horses. Een ich. 1 horse. Hami a dol amach. I am going now. I have to go now. My planet needs me. I'm going out. Oh no. I borked up. Kubek Bitoch. A tiny wee dog. Bitoch. That's interesting.
Bitoch.
Beck.
Big.
So a tiny little dog.
Hami het allemaal anish.
Hami. Okay, this is Hami Adol Amach Anish. I am going
Ish.
out now.
Een rotten toe.
A black rat. The black rat.
An rotu chin. Va.
Were you ill? No? Cheen.
Chi.
Yeah, were you ill? Yes. And
Een
ratan
rotten ikkeloch.
Ikkeloch. Oh, okay. That's scary. The scary rat. Kat bek bitoch.
Och ich.
8 horses. Chanjel en ku cho ikkeloch. That's church. I recognize that one. The dog is not so scary. Hami adol amach adish. I am going out again. I'm going out the gain.
Hami y dolomach yn drasta.
And that's I am going out. Going out just now. And drasta is just now.
Lenef big
Lenef
bitoch.
bitoch. A tiny... I guess it's a baby. A tiny
Lenef.
baby. Ow!
Ha
Just
rossen
bashed my
allen
funny
bakken.
bone. Ah! Oh, it's not so funny. Oh, hat and the rat and out. The rat is in a bag. The is in a. The rat is in a bag.
Chanil yn gacht cho ikloch.
The cat is not so scary.
Hami y dolomach.
I am going out. I am going out. Ta-da! We did it! We did it!
Tarav.
Tadav. Konjenoch.
Konjanjach.
Konjenoch.
Y vil na konjanich y catal.
Evel ne konjenich a katel. Are the rabbits asleep? Are the rabbits sleeping? Mahan.
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 Ha female.
It is useful.
Female.
Female. Hi, female. Hakoin female. Dogs are useful.
Ha yn glawn cho bria.
Ha yn gliawn cho bria. The glens, I guess.
Glawn.
The glens. No, the glen. Sorry, and glen. The glen is so pretty. And
Broch agus yn nachar.
nachar. Broch. Badger.
Broch.
The badger and the snake. One of Aesop's most popular fables. Ha and broch du agus gal. The badger is black and white, as most badgers tend
Hami
to
y
be.
dol y stiach.
Hami adol ysdiach. I am going in. I'm going in.
Ys dylum na glawnten.
So that's I like the glens. I like the glens.
Hami y dol y stiach yn drasta.
I'm going in
Drasta.
just now.
Chanil mahan am sy'n dwy acam.
There is not a badger in my house. No, Mahan is bear. Brock is badger. There is not. There isn't. There isn't a bear in my house. You have an extra but you gave me the unt. I wasn't in control of that space.
Van y tydaf rwy.
The bulls were running. Tadav.
Tydaf.
Tadav.
Tarav.
Tadav.
Tarav.
Tadav.
Y vil main awn yn oddaba.
Are bears in houses common in Scotland? Probably less common than they were 100 years ago. I don't know. I've seen Brave. That has bears in houses in it. Oh, I suppose they're in a castle, not a house. Avel Mahin awn an Alaba. Are there bears in Scotland?
Broch agus yn iorach.
The badger and the squirrel. I should play Armello sometime. That would be great. Va and Tadav.
Tarav.
Rui.
Rwy.
Rui. The big glen. An
An.
gliawn
Glen.
môr.
Môr.
Ba ba ba.
Isk.
This is a great fish. I love this fish. Just the face is wonderful. It's a good fish. I like it. I like it a lot. Good fish.
Ian.
Ian.
Och, ewn.
8 birds. Kura.
Kura.
Kura. Is Burrick still here? Hey Burrick, what's the word in Irish for a sheep? Collier.
Culje. Stellum na kudish.
I like sheep. This is sheep plural.
Kudish.
Oh, I like the sheep. Ugh.
Ku geelus.
Jealous. A loyal dog. Jealous.
Jealous.
Oh, it's sort of like you can sort of remember it like diligent. Well, I suppose diligent is more like hardworking.
Slikkenach slutach.
Slow tortoise.
Slikkenach.
Slikkenach.
Een kulan geelus.
Jealous.
Kuljan. What's Kuljan? How do you say wolf in Gaelic? I don't know. I don't know how you say wolf in Gaelic, but we can find out. Factla.info. Wolf. Here we go. Madach Ali. Or Machchida. So yeah, you got the two options. Madach Ali or Machchida. And so they probably mean like two different things. Hang on. So I'm going to quickly... What does Matach mean? Matach is a dog. Ali is a savage. Okay, so a wolf can be a wild dog. Or cheetah. Oh, okay, that's cool actually. Machchida. Is that like son of the land or something? It might be. It might be. Cheetah. Machchida. Yeah, okay, so I think the two words for dog in Gaelic are... let's just double check. Yeah, son. Offspring. I guess a son... Mach can also mean like a figurative son. Like... you know... this is like the son of a Tala, maybe sound or something. So, the son of a hall. So a thing produced by Myanmar. What's that? Myanmar. Okay, so courage, magnanimity, spirit. Yeah. Okay, so you got two options for saying wolf in Gaelic, I guess. You can either say a savage or a wild dog. Or you can say the son of the land. There you go. Madach Ali or Machchida. I already did that one. Okay.
Ha een dunach aan zijn loch.
Ha een Tunak. The duck is in the lake.
De wilde gure a cattle.
Is the sheep sleeping? Is the sleep sheeping? And Loch Arlene.
Jealous.
Va een slikkenach akem roei.
Slikkenach. I remember that. Slikkenach. Tortoise. Oh, my tortoise was running. Interesting. Ha en slikkenach akem cho lua. My tortoise is so slow. Oh, so fast.
Chanel na heisk is snaaf.
Ishk. Iask is fish, and eshk is, so that's the fish plural. Chanel na hishk a snav. The fish are not swimming. Well, that's not encouraging. Fish don't tend to do much else. I would say get them to a vet. Ha and cat aunen collier. There's the cat is in the forest. Or is in a forest.
Chanel een beichte aan een kulje.
The pet isn't in the forest. The pet is not in a forest. And chask. I'm sorry, is this a wet fish? Yeah, oh, the wet fish. Okay. I think most fish are wet. Stelum nakurig. I like sheep. Oh, I like the sheep. I like the sheep. Lovely. Good job. So let's do the last one here. Then we can go on to
Een dunje akket agus een dunje akkem.
your husband and my husband.
Stelum ediske gemoor.
Eriske. I like Eriske. Presumably. I like Eriske a lot.
Stelum granjaken.
Granichen. Oh, hedgehogs.
Granichen.
I like hedgehogs. Oh! Thank you for the follow. Loads of numbers.
Leeuwen agus luch.
A lion and a mouse. A lion and a mouse.
Ha a gure a giche vier.
Ha a gure a giche vier. The sheep is eating grass, presumably.
Vier.
They do like to do that, don't they?
Va a galak a leem.
The girl was
Leem.
jumping. The girl was jumping.
Ha a granjak aan een garig.
The hedgehog is in the garden. In a garden, sorry.
Va a granjak aan een kulje.
The hedgehog was in a
Kulje.
forest.
Lach. Lach.
Law.
Lach.
Con.
Lach.
Ha eriske giedig alen.
Eriske is just lovely. Where is Eriske? Where's Eriske? Oh, it's in the Western Isles. The Outer Hebrides. Eric's Isle. Population of 143. Wow. We got any pictures? Very nice. Rugged. Very good. Okay. Vil
Ik aan een eriske.
Are there horses in Eriske? Possibly. I'm probably not the right person to
Ha
ask.
een dunje a streep.
Hat and Dunya, the husband or the man is
Streef.
climbing. The person is climbing.
Leeuwen beek bietig.
A tiny lion. A tiny wee lion.
Ha een dunje a chien.
The person is coming. Cold trousers.
Een leeuwen loer.
A fast lion. The fast lion. The fast and the lionness. It's about family.
Ha een koe agus een kulan beek a giche vier.
The dog and the little puppy are eating grass. The dog and the little puppy are eating grass. That's probably not good for them.
4. Waar een slikkenach een giche 4 aan een kulje.
Slickanach, that's tortoise, isn't it? The tortoise was eating grass in the forest. The tortoise was eating grass in a forest. There we go. Istulum.
Tull. Loom.
Dogs eat grass when they're having stomach problems. Oh! Cats can eat grass and it helps with their digestion. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So they don't normally need roughage, but if they're having digestion problems, then it does help them to... Ah, well, that's interesting. Should probably get them to a stream as a vet. I was just going to get them to a stream. Yeah, bring your sick dogs here. I'll make it better. Please don't, actually. Please do not do that. Graniken.
Granjakken.
Well, this stream is very educational. I'm learning a lot. I hope you're learning a lot as well. Oh dear, this is my husband. She looks like the sort of person who would say that. Ov.
Ov.
Sure.
Sure.
En
An.
Dunja
Dinje.
Akam.
Akam.
Oh dear, this is my husband. Level 1 pig badge, yeah. Let's do days. We've done a bit of body before. Let's do days now. Unjig. Dajig.
Hami y feichgyn, da yig.
A feichgin. I am seeing 12. Huh?
Hami y skiplachug.
A skiplachig. I am tidying. Skiplachig.
Skiplachug.
Good, excellent word. Skiplachig.
Vami y ferachgyn croste jamaarst.
Vami a ferachgin kroste. Ferachgin. I think that's feeling. I was feeling cross on Tuesday.
Vami y snav juluin.
I was asleep. No, I was swimming. Sorry, I saw sheep and I was thinking asleep. I was swimming on Monday. Juloin.
BMA.
BMA. It will be good.
BS skynyal.
BS Skonya. It will be brilliant.
Skonya.
Sheach.
Sheach. 7.
Chanil unjig akam. Hakoig akam.
I am not 11. I am 5. I do not have 11. I have 5.
Hami y gutch unjig.
I am stealing 11. 12. I said 11.
Cyfiet brog, da yig.
How many shoes? How many shoes? 12. 12 shoes.
Vami y ferachgyn ski jamaarst.
Vami a ferachginski. I was feeling tired on Tuesday. I was feeling tired on Tuesday.
Vai y strip juluin.
That is strep. She was climbing on Monday. Yeah.
Streep.
Ha ian boch y skiplachug.
Ha Ian Boch. Boch. Poor Ian is tidying.
Charomi y ferachgyn rofa jamaarst.
Cha ro mi a ferachgin rova. I wasn't feeling too well on Tuesday. I was not feeling too good on Tuesday.
Be a girach skynyal.
It'll be just brilliant. Girach Skonyel. Cyfiad
Viet.
Lior
Lewer.
Undieg.
Jig.
Cha
Cha.
ro
Ro.
u
U.
ysgublychach
Skiplige.
idiot.
Ichid.
Yeah, we did it. Okay, let's carry on. 15. Coig Jig. Kehejig.
Cyfiad cat. Coig jig.
How many cats? 15.
Un jig. 3 jig. Coig jig.
11, 13, 15.
Be me a cattle, chiquiatin.
Be me a cattle, chiquietin. I will be... That's sleeping. I will be sleeping. On Wednesday, chiquietin.
3 jig. Ceir jig. Coig jig.
13, 14, 15.
Ha column, a geoch.
Ageoch. Shouting, right? Yeah.
Ebach.
Callum is shouting. Ageoch.
Be me a ferach gain scunyal, just doon.
I will be feeling brilliant on Thursday. I will feel brilliant on Thursday.
Chavi shin ma.
Chavi Shinma. That was... Chavi. Oh no, Chavi. That will not be good. Chavi rather than Charo. Getting my tenses mixed up there.
Och.
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 Hami igiri. 3 jig.
Hami Agiri. I am wanting 13.
Nui is coig. Ceir jig.
9 and 5. 14.
Be me talichje, chiquiatin.
I will be happy on Wednesday. Good to hear.
Be me a ferach gain scunyal, chiquiatin.
I will feel brilliant on Wednesday. Wow.
Be me a cattle, just doon.
I will be sleeping on Thursday.
Be me a cattle, just doon.
There's an audio glitch in there as well.
Be me a cattle, just doon.
Yeah, just kind of blips out in the middle. I'll be sleeping on Thursday. I was worried it was something on my headphones.
oh.
You know, I have
Had
awful luck when it comes to headphones. Oh dear. Donald is shouting again.
Be just doon, ma.
Thursday will be good. Oh, back to one of these statements again. Cha
Cha.
ro
Ro.
u
U.
ag eoch
Ebach.
va misha ag eoch
Ebach.
eoch. Cyfiad
K. Viet.
la
Wa.
cehergiag.
Jig.
Yay! Alright, let's do one of a couple of the body to just mix it up.
Dolav.
Dolav. Your hand?
Lav.
The stomach.
Your stomach. Also notice that rather than using akam or oram for the possessives, you're actually
Do.
using do. Like there is actually a word for
Do.
your, but it's not used for most things. Body parts about the only thing. Hamo stomach. Gosh, my stomach is sore.
Mo stomach.
My stomach. Yeah, body parts are about the only thing that you possess like that. Oh, stretching.
Ha e shen.
He is old. Shen. More hulen. My eyes.
How colach ri Seamus.
You are similar to James.
Charomi a coyet.
Charomi akoyat. Charomi, I was not looking. Akoyat.
Kate.
I'm sorry?
Charomi a coyet. Kate.
Okay, so
Kate.
apparently Koyat and Kate are both acceptable
Hami a
pronunciations.
coyet.
Hami
Me.
a Koyat.
Kate.
That will be very
Chanel
confusing.
Dol Rohin.
Chanel Don Rohen. Donald is not too old. Or is not... Yeah, Donald is not too old. Chanel Shiv. Shen a henner. You are not old, grandfather.
Carcheville the love.
Where is your hand? Very interesting question.
A vil dalav gorst.
Is your hand sore? Is your hand sore?
Malav gorst.
My sore hand.
How colach ri Mari.
You are similar to Myri.
Chanel mi a coyet.
I am not looking.
Carcheville Mavahat Anish.
Where is my mother now? Oh, where is my mother, dee-doo? Come on, bird, show me what you got. Your stomach. Door. Stomach.
Stomach.
A bird is... Oh, okay, this is actually a new one. Chaniel Iesk a coltoch ri... No. Chaniel Ian coltoch ri Iesk. Chaniel
Scale.
Ian
Ian.
coltoch
Coltoch.
ri
Ri.
Iesk.
Iesk.
Yes. We did it! A bird is not similar to a fish. I wonder if that's a Duolingo owl getting really self-conscious. Beal.
Beal.
Beal. Cluus.
Cluas.
Cluus.
Movoik.
Morvoic. That's presumably body.
Voik.
Boic and voic. My body.
Doviel agus dochluas.
Your mouth
Viel.
and your ear.
Dochloon.
Gloon. Your knee. Gloon.
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 Mochloon gorst.
My sore knee.
A vil e saveltje an an nuist.
Is it safe? Savelcha?
Saveltje.
Savelcha. Is it safe in Uist? It's probably very safe in Uist.
Is Ian.
Ha Jejach Ian. Ian has toothache. Ha mi bored. Ha mi air bored. Yeah, I'm on a table. I thought that's what it meant. It just struck me as a weird statement. Ha close and fatte ag each. A horse has long ears. A horse has long ears.
Chanel mohon rovor.
Mahorn. My mahorn.
Ro.
Oh, my buttocks. My buttocks are not too big. Please nobody clip that. Vel do horn gorst. Are your buttocks sore?
Dovoik.
Your body. Chanel mo horn mor. My buttocks are not big.
A vil dogloon kerskelior.
Is your gloon? Is your knee okay? Vel e saveltje. Gulior. Is it safe enough in Portree?
Hamovoig gost.
My body is sore. Well, welcome to adulthood. My body is sore. Michael. Oh, ha and chekel Michael. Ha and chekel Michael.
Michal.
Michael. Look at my mouth now. Shall mo veal
Veal.
anish.
Nish.
No, sorry. Shall
Ed.
mo veal
Veal.
anish. Right?
Nish.
Because it look at my mouth, not just look my mouth. There we go. Good thing I went back to correct that, otherwise we'd have lost the streak right at the end. What's that? I just practiced one.
Garstin.
Garjan.
Hamolav brisje.
My hand is broken. Wait, what?
Brisje.
My hand is broken.
Brisje.
Okay.
Hami
That's-
a geistach
that's
vi
very sad.
ranrig.
I am listening to Runrig.
Ri.
Ranrig. Ranrig.
Very helpful there.
Ranrig.
A Scottish band.
Hami a geistach ri fiel.
I'm listening to to a
Feel.
fiddle.
Hamo chassan fatte.
Mochasan fata. Is that legs? My legs are long.
Garstin agus cas.
Arms and an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg. Hope it doesn't cost too much.
Garstin agus lav.
That's an arm and a hand. An arm and a hand.
Iter mochluas agus mochluas ille.
Ether is between my ear and my other ear. That's a weird way of phrasing it. Wouldn't you just say like between my two ears? Ether and cat agus and coo. Between the cat and the dog.
Iter molaven.
Between my hands.
Do chas, do hon agus do lav.
Your chas, your leg,
Chas.
your buttocks, and your hand. Right? Yeah. Mo rargen agus mo lav. My arm and my hand.
Iter mogarstenen.
Between my arms. Between my arms.
Hamogarsten gost a chanile briste.
My arm is sore, but it's not broken. Okay, well that's good. Well, it's not good that it's sore. My arm is sore, but it is not broken. Yes.
Shalv ir mo chassan.
Look at my legs.
Chassan.
Wait, is it the same word for...
Hamolav gost a chanili briste.
Hamolav rost. Oh, it's same again. But it's E this time because lav is a feminine noun. So my hand is sore. My hand is sore. But it is not broken.
Hami a geistach ri ian.
I'm listening to a bird. I'm listening to a bird. Is it listening and hearing? No, listening and hearing aren't the same. Okay. Come on, bird. I'm listening to a bird. Between ether, mo,
Mo.
lan,
Laven.
laven. Your do chas, no, do
Chasen.
chas,
Chas.
agus, do hon.
Hon.
There we go. I wonder why it felt the need to teach us the word buttocks and instill that in us. Well, Well, I guess we do technically have the vocabulary now to say your buttocks are beautiful. Your buttocks are very nice. Yeah? Och, jiak. Shiajiak.
Cyfiet. Shia. No shia jig.
How many? 6 or 16? Shach jiak.
Hami y fiachin.
Hami fiachin. I am trying.
Fiachin.
Trying my best.
Be me a gupper. Jehunje.
I will be working on Friday.
Chavimi and show a madoch.
Chavimi and Shaw Amadoch. I won't be here tomorrow. I will not be here tomorrow.
Chavimi a gupper Jasaharnia.
I won't be working on Saturday. I won't be working on Saturday.
BMA.
Will it be good? Will it be good? Oh, excuse me.
And be you on the barre.
And be oo. And be oo.
Be.
Aun and Barre.
Barai.
Will you be in Barra?
Shia jig. Shach jig. Och jig.
16, 17, 18.
Jikiatin.
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 Chanilu a fiachin.
Hanyelu a fiechkin. You're not trying. You are not trying.
Charami a gol Jasaharnia.
I will not be drinking on Saturday. I was not drinking on Saturday.
Be me a gol Jehunje.
Be me a goal, Jehunia. Be me a goal. I will be drinking on Friday. Fair enough. I wasn't drinking on Saturday. I will be drinking on Friday.
Chanilu a fiachin ichid.
Oh, you're not trying at all. You aren't trying at all.
Chavimi a shane a madoch.
I won't be singing tomorrow. I will not be mouth singing tomorrow. Let's take that. Great work. Let's make this a bit harder. Bring it on. I'll be me a dreifig ri dun agin amarach. Be me a dreifig.
Dreifig.
Oh, gu, not re.
Gu.
Dun agin amarach.
Madach.
Be me a gopper Jasaharnia. Be me a gopper
Opper.
Jasaharnia.
Jisaharnia.
Perfect. Lovely. Okay. Let's go back to body. So I've got 2 more lessons on each of them. Kodak. Kodak. Oh, they're just not saying anything. Okay. Kodak.
Awach.
Awach. Or avach.
De chorak ille.
Your other finger. Your other finger. A downser. A downser.
Ha möten gle nok.
Ha murdan gle nok. My face is very nice.
Öten.
My face is very nice. Nach el murdan boyer. Isn't my face beautiful?
Öten inchinnach.
An interesting face.
A vil dawach gorst itcher.
Oh, is your neck sore at all? Is your neck sore at all? Dawach.
Ha dawach go keul.
Ha
Ha.
De
dawach.
awach.
Cho
Cho.
keul.
Keul.
Your neck is so thin.
Ha mi a danse.
I am dancing. Dancing is what to do. Ha. Dun. Your face is pretty.
Schauf mo chassan. Ha mi a danse.
Look at my feet. or legs. Wait, is it the same word? Yeah.
Hassan.
They use the same word for legs or feet. Look at my legs. I am dancing, Mr. Darcy. Va m'awgorst, Martin and Jay. My neck was sore yesterday morning.
Utan glenok.
A very nice face.
Hamötan bria.
My face is pretty.
Bria.
The chorak ate.
Your long finger.
The chorak gorst ille.
My other sore finger. Oh, you hurt multiple fingers. I know how you feel. My hands are still recovering from making bread. Look at my legs. I am dancing. Shall
Shall
er mo chassen
Hassan.
ha me
Me.
a dancer
Bouncer.
nach el
El.
möten.
Uten.
No. Boyach.
Bojach.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it. Good work, us. Good work, we. Okay. Nearly there. Nearly there. Neujig. So here's a fun fact you might not know about the Gaelic language. It's not done in tens. Numbers are grouped in 20s. So the word for 30 is actually 2010. And when you get up to 30, like 33, for example, that's actually 2013. So you go fichetse ga, and then all the way up to fichetse jig, and then fichetse jig.
Figet.
Nuijig, ochjig, shachjig.
19, 18, 17.
Shinya.
Shinya, us. French is sort of like that. French is weird. Because, like, you go normally up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so you go normally up to 60. And then I think 70 is 60-10. 60, 40, 50, 60, 70. No. Is that right? How is it in French? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I think it is. Yeah, no, it's 60, 80, 70, 80, 80, 90, 100. So it's, you count normally up to 60, then it's 60-10, 420s, 420s and 10, 100. Yeah, so if you want to say 99, it's actually 420s, 10, 9. 420s, 10 and 9. There's a great, I think it's ocho halbtreis, which is I think the Swedish word for is that it? Ocho halbtreis. It's probably spelled differently. Halbtreis. Otto. Yeah, so it's basically like 8 half third, which is, I think it's Swedish. And what it actually means, it literally means 8 half third. I've spelled it wrong. Not super important right now, but basically like 58 is, I don't remember exactly how it works, but the 8 is self-explanatory, but then 50 is halbtreis, which is like half halfway to a third of something. No, it's a third. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's really interesting, but I forget. I have a bad memory. I learn so many things, and then I forget them all. And then I have the joy of learning them again. Me a tockle tie. I am building a house. A tockle. A tockle. Building.
Nach biu ski.
Nach biu ski. Won't you be tired? Won't you be tired? So there are actually Gaelic words for 30 and 50 and whatever. But they're sort of more recent inventions.
Nach bi rohe.
Won't it be too hot? So fichet is 20 and trichet is 30. But fichet's giek, no. Yeah, fichet giek is the one that I learned. Cha vi mi agohre lana savage. I will not be working on Sunday. I will not be working on Sunday. Lana savage.
Sabbath.
Literally the Sabbath day.
Bí sin ansnieklish jidoni.
We will be in church on. Oh, that's another word for Sunday. Jidonich. Jidonich or Lana Savage. Jerdún. That's Thursday.
Coig Jiak, Shach Jiak, Nui Jiak.
15, 17, 19.
Chaniluski. Hashinyeski.
Oh, same thing again. You are not tired. We are tired.
Fichet cat.
20 cats. Oh, here's another interesting thing. 20 doesn't use the plural. If you're counting things, 1 and 2 and then 20, I think the 10s do it as well. I forget, but yeah. Fichet the cat, not fichet the catch. Because Gaelic. I think it's to do with like counting sheep. Like you would count sheeps in scores. Because I mean English still has the word score, which means 20. So you would count your flock, and you would say, how many scores of sheep do you have? I guess. I don't know.
Ha je de tokal trochach.
They are building a bridge.
Ha iad a tokal. Skull.
They are building a school. Aren't they diligent? What's your sheep score? Oh, do you get all the bonus points at the end of the round?
Shinya kujoch.
Us too.
Chavimi aunem postri. Lana sabach.
I won't be in Portree on Sunday. I will not be in Portree on Sunday. Come on, birdie. MBE. No, MBE. A Falav. MBE. A Falav.
Falav.
Jidonich. We will be in the church on Sunday. Okay. So, B Shin.
Sheen.
Ounce. And Eklish. Jidonich. Yeah, we did another perfect. Okay, so we've only got one more on each of them to do. That won't be done.
Strawn.
Falt ruig.
Red hair. Ruig. Red hair.
Estalium falt ruig.
I like red hair.
Estalium falt baan.
I like fair hair.
Falt glensach.
Shiny hair?
Glensach.
Glensach. Shiny hair. Hafalt ban marriage. Margaret
Ha
has
mo
fair hair.
chluasan mo llawn.
Ha mo chluasan mo llawn. My ears are on my head. So here's a question. This is kind of a point of contention for me and some of my friends and some of my family. Are the ears part of the face?
Fiachkel Hukalach.
Presumably that's a wobbly tooth. Yeah.
Chukalach. Chukalach.
Chukalach.
Ha malt mo llawn.
Hamalt mochian. My hair is on my head. My hair is on my head.
Ha miachglan cukalach.
My tooth. No, my teeth are
Miachglan.
wobbly. My teeth are wobbly. Okay, so we've got 3 no's in the chat and 1 contextually, so I think this is an argument I'm losing. I consider the ears to be part of the face, but clearly I'm outnumbered, and I'm willing to concede. Hamaron brische. My nose is broken again.
Istalium falt glensach.
I like shiny hair.
Antalat falt glensach.
Do you like shiny hair? Well, because here's the thing: the part of the head of the face, ears, and hair. I always group the ears with the face because they're a feature that would like help to sort of identify the person, which is one of the purposes of the face. But also like in the, and I know it's not like an academic work, but in the song Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes, the bit in the middle goes eyes and ears and mouth and nose. All 4 of those things grouped together.
Butallium falt ban.
Butallium falt ban. I like fair hair. I don't know. I would like fair hair. Oh.
Butallium falt ruud.
I would like red hair.
Ha mo hulen mo llawn.
My eyes are on my head. Yeah, again, I think this is an argument that I'm not going to win, but like, I don't know. I still believe, I still consider ears to be part of the face.
Ha uaine.
My hair isn't blue, it's green. No. No, I wouldn't. Okay, that's sort of a false equivalency. Because earrings, like if somebody said facial piercings as opposed to, like if somebody said I'm getting piercings, my first thought would be earrings. If somebody said facial piercings, I would imagine, no, I suppose I get your point. Because you would expect them to say earrings if they were doing that specifically. So if they say facial piercings, they're talking about facial piercings that aren't earrings. Is the hair a part of the face? The hair is closer to the face.
Evel diach van kukawach.
Okay, so I would also consider that to a certain extent the hair is part of the face, insofar as just like the ears, they form a person's identifying features as part of the head. Like whenever you're playing one of those games, they ask you to customize your character's face. It's like ears and hair. Yeah, if you picture someone's face, you picture the ears and hair too. It's exactly the ears and hair are part of the bit of the person that represents them to the world. So yeah, insofar as the ears and hair are both part of the face. No, the neck is not part of the face. Well, I guess like down to the bit where your beard stops growing. Maybe. I don't know. Because that counts as facial hair. Like on the neck, that's still facial hair, right?
Butellum falt ban.
I suppose it doesn't really apply to people who don't or can't grow facial hair. Never mind. Butellum falt ban. I would like fair hair. There we go. Finally got there. I wonder if it's like a...
Iedsen.
Them.
Chosavach.
So... quiet.
Savach. Shachgein va.
A good week. If you got hit in the side of your head, would that also... and that also hit your ears, would you say you were hit in the face? I mean, if you got hit in the ear, yes, you could say you were hit in the face. But if it was the side of your head more generally, then you would say I got hit in the head.
Be me skiën nog. And be you ounce na herig.
Will you be in Harris?
Herig. Be me a cattle a gaiad.
A gaiad.
A gaiad.
A gaiad. Soon. A gaiad.
Hi Arash out in Canada.
She is in Canada again. Wait, Erash.
Ash.
She's back in Canada. She is back Canada. She is back in Canada. Well, I mean, do you consider the jaw to be part of the, like the jaw line to be part of the head? Because that's part of the mouth. The jaw. The jaw's part of the mouth.
Be me a dol Arash. Ash.
Noch. Noch.
Iedsen kujoch. How chosavach.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have opened this can of worms. Unless I was willing to lie in it. You know? Ha u cho savoch. You are so quiet.
Shachgein voord.
A good week. A big week. A big week. Of course, the real problem was trying to define definite board as something that kind of just fades out vaguely. Yeah, either way, where exactly does the face end? You could argue that your entire body is a face because it's how you present yourself to the world. Shachgin va elle. Another good week.
And
if you're a heroic wrestler, then you are yourself a face. In horror media, when someone cuts okay, that's okay. I'm ignoring that. Lana Savage. Sunday in Harris.
Nach be it a gopper a knock.
Won't they be working tonight?
Be it ams na herig kujoch.
They be it ams na herig. They will also be. They too will be in Harris. Let's test out how well it can parse English. They will be in Harris. Okay, they too will be in Harris.
Be meown the gaiad.
Be meown gaiad. I will be there soon. I'll be there soon.
Be shin a fallav a gaiad.
Be shin a fallav a gaiad. Be shin a fallav. We will be leaving soon.
Be shin a doderash a madoch.
We will be going back tomorrow.
Bí iad ams na herig, cúteach.
They will be in Harris too. There we go. How we doing? How we doing? Ick. Oh no. Oh no. I spilled water on my pop filter. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh no. Gross. Bad. That was very bad. I'll have to leave that somewhere warm so it can dry properly. I mean, probably still work. There we go. There we go. I'll probably keep the poops out. Okay, so we've done pretty well today. We did some of these, and we did some of these, and we did the checkpoint progress. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read you a story. I'm gonna read you all a story. I got lots of books over here. I just gotta go and pick one. Let's see. Let me just turn off my that so I don't freak the camera out. So let's see what we got here. So as I think is traditional at this point, by which I mean I've done it for the past couple of weeks. I'm going to start off by reading a passage from Nach Ionnsachadh Sin, which is a lovely little book of Gaelic language spooky stories that my father gave me. Now, problem with it is my Gaelic isn't very good yet, as you can probably tell. And also it's written in like a really oldie-timey Gaelic. Like ye olde. Yeah, like it. When's this edition from? It's 1973. So I think there was a spelling reform like after that point. So I'm just gonna read a short passage from this, and then we'll look at something else. Sound good? Actually, what are these ones? What are these books I have? Okay, we can go on the shelf. Okay, so I'm going to start off by reading. And there. I'm going to start off by reading a short passage from Nach Ionnsachadh Sin. So, I'm going to be reading the story entitled A Rav. And oh, excuse me, got the hiccups from hydrating too much. A Rav is the title of this story, and I'm just going to be reading it for pronunciation, not for comprehension. Just so like I have some more practice reading words I'm not familiar with. So I'll read a couple of paragraphs of this, and then we'll move on to the actual story. Oh, I'll quickly change the stream info as well. I think I could do that from my phone, can't I? So I don't have to bother booting up Google Chrome. I think so. Yeah, Stream Manager. Here we go. Nope. Just chatting. I can keep the title the same. Alright. So, update information. Cool. So, the title, like I say, is A Rav. And I'm just going to read a short bit of this, just to get used to pronouncing Gaelic. Hug Ian, Brar Mohennever, Yachi Unla Rav, a Vrish Ora Sasko Sied, a Mui Ek na Gimmich. Hilk Lia Agus Kalper Raif. Cool yn cheer, gus a feich unje schorum yn cwr yn tag, a chelle ríist, sauna sin bha an da fís na síneach fad imig lás íon an, oh, this is a long word, Giachuv, no, Jachuniachuch, maybe. Jachuniachuch. We'll go with that. Anish va ionsa hrwyr vraren, gun fosig ek an arms iad a furach collery maher san chaun dachi, mchri dorsen falaf is charoshen fata aan een klachen sna helenen, excuse me, va borenjoch rish en kanig iad bessa na Betty vier vanne garretje ga mo heen shennever. Reer cholish va een da gellig ek bessa na maar herrig iad zijn arch aganya. Vir I ri taisherach. Oh, that was a bit of a mouthful. I think for next time I'm going to have to try and like get the text up on the screen so you can read along at home and you know I'm not just making things up. Okay, so that's a nice bit of that. Now we'll go with I've got a lot of books here. I've actually got here a copy of I've got the first half of the Kalevala, which is like the Finnish national epic. And it's like, oop, boop, boop, boop. Sorry, I just have to respond to this message quickly. There. Okay. So, I'm going to start with Selected Highland Folktales, which is a lovely little book. This one's all in English, don't worry. So we've got several different categories here. Fairies, haunted houses, witchcraft, monsters, merfolk, the Highland Vision, and miscellaneous tales. Also going to turn my theme music down, just so. There we go. So I sort of feel like a monster story today. So let's go to the monster section. Monsters. Let's see what we've got. That's Nessie. There's a lot of loch monsters. Yeah. Okay, so hang on. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories in the monster section are loch monsters, and then throughout the section there are another 3, 4, 5, 6. I suppose because there are a lot of lochs in Scotland, it would make sense that a lot of them have monsters in them. Alright, let's see what we've got. Croc na Croiv. I think we read that one. Yeah, we read that one already. Ooh. Okay, here's a entitled Water Kelpies. An old pamphlet dated 1823 refers to water kelpies as follows: In the former and darker ages of the world, when people had not half the wit and sagacity they now possess, and when, consequently, they were much more easily duped by such designing agents as the Ushka, or water horse, as the Kelpie is commonly called. Sorry, I lost my place. Okay. In the former and darker ages of the world, when people had not half the wit and sagacity they now possess, and when, consequently, they were much more easily duped by such designing agents, the Ushka, or water horse, as the Kelpie was commonly called, was a well-known character in those countries. The Kelpie was an infernal agent retained in the service and pay of Satan, who granted him a commission to execute such services as appeared profitable to his interest. He was an amphibious character, and generally took up his residence in lochs and pools, bordering on public roads and other situations most convenient for his professional calling. His commission consisted in the destruction of human beings without affording them time to prepare for their immortal interests, and thus endeavour to send their souls to his master, while he, the Kelpie, enjoyed the body. However, he had no authority to touch a human being of his own free accord unless the latter was the aggressor. In order, therefore, to delude public travellers and others to their destruction, it was the common practice of the Kelpie to assume the most fascinating form and assimilate himself to that likeness, which he supposed most congenial to the inclinations of his intended victim. The likeness of a fine riding steed was his favourite disguise. Decked out in the most splendid riding accoutrements, the perfidious Kelpie would place himself in the weary traveller's way, and graze by the roadside with all the seeming innocence and simplicity of the world. But this horse knew better what he was about. He was as calm and peaceable as a lamb until his victim was once fairly mounted on his back. With a fiend-like yell, he would then announce his triumph, and plunging headlong with his woe-struck rider into an adjacent pool, enjoy him for his repast. There you are. Short story, but well told. Ooh, this one looks a bit long. We'll do this one. The Strathardal Waterballs. Unlike the Ushka, the Tarav Ushka water bull was quite harmless and did not interfere with those who came near its haunts. It lived in small lonely tarns along the hills, from which it emerged only at night. Its lowing was heard after sundown, a weird sound like the crowing of a cock as it came from its lair to graze with the farmer's cattle, but it was seldom seen. Calves born with short ears, or, as called in the Gaelic, corach chluachsach, knife-eared, was said to be the offspring of the Tarav Ushka. It had no ears itself, and hence its calves had only half ears. An eyewitness account of the water bull, from Lorne, describes it as a small black animal, velvety and soft in appearance. A water bull is said to have been slain with a bow and arrow at Lochan, high up in the Mulchskur of St Kilda, and the marks of cloven hooves found on the grassy slopes round Stalla House on Brerry, one of the St Kilda group, were attributed to the Tarav Ushka. The lochs of Lundavra and Achtriachten in Glencoe were famous for their water bulls, and a belief in existence of the Tarav Ushka persisted until very recently among the dwellers beside Loch Rannoch and Loch Orr, where many farmers were in the habit of carrying guns loaded with silver coins, mostly sixpences, to be discharged when the beasts appeared, silver alone having any effect on such animals. A water bull was long believed to inhabit Cultalony Pool on the River Ardle near Kirkmichael, Perthshire. It was often seen grazing with the domestic cattle, and was recognised by its jet-black coat and the entire absence of ears. This Tarav Ushka seemed to have been of a gentle disposition, until attacked on one occasion with a gaff or landing net by a fisherman who mistook its black, silent presence beside him as he cast his line in the river. Its peaceful nature changed into a lust to kill, and it was believed to lurk thereafter among the reeds and boulders by the waterside, seeking whom it might devour. It became known as the Demon Bull of Cultalony. It left behind an enormous Corachlusach progeny. The descendants of these bulls were pointed out in the district by the older inhabitants until recently. These bulls had evidently inherited their fierceness from their Tarav Ushka ancestor and were very wild. Many years ago, I recorded an amusing local poem which I gleaned from a Kirkmichael worthy about a particularly fierce descendant of the Cultalony Tarav Ushka, known as the Dooney Bull. Was the road to Culty Pool, follow down the dyke, Ginir Supel loop the ditch. That should be Nefike. Past Ald. Oh god. Scots is even harder than Gaelic. Past Al Chappie through the haw, step ye canny by. That's what Tinker Mary's man strangled poor Mackay. Follow the Ardle by the field, warrior they've sown the rye, but mind and watch the muckle bull as ye pass the Kye. Gin that Dooney bull gies wood, faith it's fascist work, dinna get his dander up, crossing through the park. Antsy tuss Chick Stewart's dug, gied him sick a clure, then he charged a fisherman and made him rin like stir. Well, I've warned ye, but some folk winna tak advice. What, you'll gang another way? Gad, I see you're wise. Loch Dirkelig, in the valley of the Vale of Tay, was believed to house a most formidable Tanafushka, which, less than 130 years ago, was frequently observed sauntering along its shores. At peat-cutting times especially it was often seen, but no one ever examined it, as all took to their heels whenever they saw it. There we go. That's quite a nice one. I like the addition of the poem, even if it was pretty impossible for me to read it decently. I'm going to have a look at one of my other books. I like this Highland folktale book, but I don't want to burn through them all too quickly. I've also got this Icelandic folktale book. Ah! Well, I had. Now it's on the floor. Got it. Oh, hey. There's Icelandic tales about a water horse as well. Should we go for these? Should we go for the Icelandic water horse tales? The water horse is named either Nikur or Nenir and lives in rivers or lakes or even the open sea. He looks just like a horse, usually a grey but sometimes a black one, but all his hooves are turned back to front and the tufts on his pasterns point backwards. However, he is in no way limited to this form. It is characteristic of him to change suddenly into various shapes just as he chooses. In winter, when cracks appear in the ice and cause loud booming noises, men say that the Nikur is neighing. He begets foals like other stallions do, but always in the water, though it has sometimes happened that he has got an ordinary mare with foal. It is characteristic of all horses descended from a Nikur that they lie down whenever they are ridden or led through water that reaches to their bellies. And this is a trait they inherit from the Nikur. A Nikur will often appear on land, near rivers or lakes that are difficult to cross. He seems quiet enough at such times and tempts people to ride across on him, but as soon as they are up on his back he rushes wildly into the water, lies down flat in it and drags his rider down too. The Nikur cannot bear to hear his own name, or any word that sounds like it at all, and if he does he shies violently and gallops into the water. All over Iceland people believed in the Nikur, so in almost every district there are stories of one living in this or that river or lake, especially those with strong currents. In the island of Grimsey, off the north coast, people believed that a Nikur lived in the sea and neighed whenever he knew that the islanders had gone to fetch a cow from the mainland. The cows went mad at his neighing, flung themselves into the sea, and so were drowned. Not before the middle of the 19th century did the men of Grimsey dare keep a cow on their island. And we have a sequel. The water horse hears his name. Once, a shepherd girl was searching for her sheep. She had walked a long way and was very tired. Then she sees a grey horse and is very pleased. She puts her garter on him as a bridle, lays her apron across his back, leads him to a tussock, and prepares to mount him. But just as she is about to mount, she says, "I don't think I fancy getting on his back. Aren't I a ninny?" Then the horse shied violently, dashed into a lake nearby, and vanished. Then the girl saw what kind of creature it had been. It was a water horse. It is characteristic of a water horse that he must never hear his own name, or he returns to the water where he lives. He has two names, Nikur and Nenir. So he went off as soon as the girl said ninny. The same thing happens if Nikur hears the word devil spoken. Once 3 or 4 children were playing. Not far from their farm was a broad lake with smooth gravel banks, and the children were on the banks by the water. There they saw a grey horse and went to have a look at it. Then one of the children climbs onto its back, and the others too, one after the other, till only the eldest was left. They urged him to come too, saying this old pack horse had plenty room enough on his back. even if they all got on at once. But the child refused to get on, and the others called him a ninny. Then the horse shied and hurtled out into the lake with all the other children on his back. The one who had stayed behind went home and told the tale, and people knew this must have been the Nicker. He was never seen again, nor the children either. Oh, I'm stretching. There's some translation notes here, which is nice. So it says is Nenir, from widespread tales attached to many lakes. In order to convey the pun, I have added the word ninny to the crucial remarks. The original turns on the verb nena, to feel like doing something. Eg nenni eki aback. I don't feel like getting on its back. The heroine of Elenarlioth is saved by the lucky use of the same word. A Scottish Kelpie, they mention Kelpies here. A Scottish Kelpie too will occasionally flee at the threat that its name will be uttered aloud, though whether this means a secret personal name or the generic term Kelpie is not clear. Well, would you look at that? Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, let's read another one. There's a third water horse story in this Icelandic book, and then I have an idea for another story entirely, another myth. Actually, let me look that one out and bookmark it first, because this book is kind of a pain to navigate. Yeah, this is it. Alright, bookmark. Okay. So, the third part of the Water Horse trilogy, the Return of the Jedi, is... It happened once. The title is The Water Horse Made to Work. It happened once that the farmers of the parish of Bard, or some say Holt, in the distance of Fliot, had to build a wall round their churchyard. Early one morning, they had all gathered for the work, except one old man. This man was thought to be pretty spiteful, and was generally disliked. Time wore on towards midday, and he still had not come, and the rest thought he was taking a long time over it. Just on the stroke of noon they saw him coming, leading a grey horse behind him. As soon as he arrives, he is met by angry words from those who had got there early, for coming late for his share of work. The old fellow keeps his temper, and asks what work he is to do. He was sent to join the group whose job it was to carry turf and other building materials for the wall, and he says he likes this job well enough. His grey horse was very rough and vicious towards the other horses carrying turf. He tore himself free from the horse in front, and he bit them and kicked them until none of the rest would stand up to him. The men thought this a great nuisance and agreed to lay heavier loads on him, but it was no use. Even with loads twice as heavy, he moved just as briskly and never stopped his tricks until he had driven all the other horses away. And then there was only him left. Then the old man takes this pack horse of his and piles as large a load onto his back as had been loaded onto all the other horses put together for a single trip, and led him off, and then he was quiet enough. In this way, using the grey horse, the man shifted all the building materials down to the churchyard. But when it was all finished, he takes the bridle off the horse close to the churchyard wall, just where it was freshly built, and lashes the horse across the loins with the bridle as he lets him go. The grey horse does not like this. He ups with his hindquarters and drives both heels against the church walls, which they had been building all day, and knocks a great hole in it, and no wall has ever stood firm on that spot, however often it was rebuilt, till in the end people came to use this as the gateway for the church. And the last thing anybody ever saw of that pack horse was that he galloped off as soon as he was free and never stopped till he plunged into Holt Lake, and then they all felt certain that this must have been the Nikur. That's a good one. I like that. Alright, so that's some Scottish and Icelandic folk tales about water horses. And now we've got something quite similar. Well, a little bit similar. So this is from a book of worldwide tales. And does it say... So it just says American Indian for this, which, you know, shows you how old this book is, rather than Native American. It doesn't give a specific provenance for the story. It could very well be... Actually, I suppose I could look it up, because it gives like a geographical location. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's going to be the Tualatin Native Americans. Yes, so this story is called The Changelings. A strange creature called the Huluk used to live in Lake Tualatin, now called Wapato Lake, a quiet, shallow lake surrounded by gorgeous greenery. The Huluk is not there now because it outgrew the lake and went to live elsewhere. Today, no one sees it. Long ago, it was often seen. This story happened in bygone days when the Huluk still dwelt in that lake. By nature sluggish, the Huluk waddled like a porcupine when it was out of the water. It dragged its big, flat tail, which was akin to that of a beaver, but spiked all around the rump with enormous quills. It had a long, slender, blunt-ended horn on top of its head, between its huge clamshell ears, above the eyes that were two protuberant half-globes, black and moist and never blinking. The Huluk's horn was covered in red and white spots. The fur of the Huluk was slick and mottled. 3 children were out digging roots one day. A little girl, a little boy, and an older boy. The girl wore a sleeveless dress of seal fur interlaced with braids of mountain sheep wool. Upon her head she wore a bobcat fur cap. The 2 boys wore striped coats of tanned deerskin decorated with red beads. When the creature came out of the water, the little boy saw it first. At first he thought it was a beaver the size of a grizzly bear. He was a fearless boy, and the very idea of such a big beaver made him laugh. "What are you laughing at?" asked his sister. "What do you see?" The little boy pointed and exclaimed, "I like that creature's horn. I want it to belong to me." When his little sister saw it, she joined the laughter. The horn was indeed very appealing. Together they ran toward the creature. "Come back," cried their older brother, understanding better the danger of inexplicable beasts. He tried to run after his siblings, but his feet would not move, as though they were stuck in mud or roots had grabbed him. The little ones did not listen to him, did not come back. So the Huluk scooped up the little boy on its horn. Then it scooped up the little girl. They were taken into the water, riding on the horn. From where the older child was standing, knee-deep in muck, it looked as though they might have been impaled, but he wasn't sure, for they were obviously alive. He could still hear them laughing. As the creatures slid into the lake, the older boy's legs were mysteriously freed from the muck, and he turned to flee. He made it home and told his mother and father, "Brother and sister have been carried away. The Tualatin lake monster either drowned them or impaled them. I don't know which." Then the boy grew ill from his adventure. He lay down on a mat in the longhouse. He was sweating and moaning. His mother laid over him a cougar skin blanket, thoroughly tanned, and as she did so, she saw that he was covered with red and purple spots. The father was called Wawingspa, a chief. He took a carved box out from under a bench in the longhouse and opened it. He drew forth all his best clothes. He dressed himself in a shirt of tanned elk skin, which his wife had decorated with beads and quills, tanned leggings and breechcloth, new moccasins of deer hide with the fur intact. His marmot fur knife belt was decorated with feathers from a white swan's back. His necklace consisted of bear claws, symbolic of warrior strength, plus the rare small shells of a shaman. He blacked his cheeks with pitch soot. Last of all, he put on a headdress. It was made of white swan feathers interspersed with red and black woodpecker feathers. The circlet of feathers stuck straight up from his head. Wawingspa went to the place where his youngest children had been taken away below the water. At the lake's edge, he saw a big hole and followed the Huluk's tracks into the cave. When he came out the other side of the tunnel, the sky was made of shimmering earth, and trees were growing downwards from the roof of the sky. Off in the misty distance, he caught a glimpse of his children. They were clinging to the speckled horn of the monster, which trod slowly but steadily away. It moved awkwardly across pitted earth, dragging its tail and gouging the ground with its arrow-length quills, leaving a wide track that was easy to follow. The father pursued them through the dismal world, up and down deep gullies. Time and again he caught sight of his children, but the monster was never closer or farther. It was always the same distance away. On the upper bank of the first gully, Warwingspa motioned with his hands and cried out for his children to let go of the horn and come back to him. His children clung fast and called back, "Father, we are different, different, different." The next day, from the top of the second gully, he called to them again, but they only replied, "We are different, different," as they held fast to the hullock's horn. The monster waddled on, and though it never exerted itself, it managed somehow always to keep the same distance. The father grew increasingly despondent. He made a camp each night in sheltered places low in one or another gully. 5 days he stayed in the strange land. 5 times he ascended to a different gully's ridge and called out, "Come to me, my children, come!" He could never catch up to them, and their reply was always the same. After the 5th try, the father saw his children no more. He looked everywhere, but the hullock was no more to be seen. Its wide trail vanished on a lava bed. Warwingspa came out of the cave into the good world, but the world seemed less good without his children. He went home and told his wife, "The Tualatin monster has taken our children to live under the mountain. All the trees in that place grow straight down out of the sky. I saw our children on the horn of the monster, but I could not catch them." Then he sat down with his wife, and together they cried. The older son lay sick with fever, sleeping fitfully. His mother prepared strong medicinal teas of herbs, crabapple bark and spruce sap, but the boy could not keep liquids in him. Throughout the night, Warwingspa lay near his son, and for a long time could not sleep for worrying that his last child would die. Finally, Warwingspa slept, and his night was filled with dreams. He drew dream power into himself as he was sleeping. The next day his wife could not wake him. She waited patiently, watching her husband fretfully as she attended to her sick son. Towards noon, Warwingspa opened his eyes and said, "I have seen them in my dream. I will try again to bring them home." Once more he made himself ready, wearing his many fine garments. He covered his forehead with black pitch. He made speckles on the rest of his face with red paint, white clay and coal. Then, in the forest, he twisted a long hazel rope and tied one end around his waist. The other he tied to a tree beside Lake Tualatin. Then he swam out to the middle of the lake and peered down. Deep in the clear, clear water, he saw his children on the horn of the monster. He called down into the waters, "Let go of the horn, my children, and swim up here to me." But they replied, "Father, we are different, different, different." He swam about the middle of the lake until he was weary, with just the feathers on his headdress sticking up. The whole time he prayed and prayed for assistance from good spirits. He prayed to the clouds, to the lake, to the mountains, to the trees, to the birds, and to the kindly spirit he had met in the forest when he came of age and which was always with him. Then he was so tired he couldn't even swim to shore. He sank from view and would have drowned. His wife came wearing a cedar bark dress and robe of interwoven seal, coon, and bobcat furs. She pulled on the hazel rope, drawing her husband out of the water. She raised him in her arms, wrapped him in a cougar hide blanket, and held him fast until he was warm. The next morning he went out into the lake again, with just his headdress of swan and woodpecker feathers showing in the distance. He called to his children, but their answer was the same as before. On the 5th day, he saw that his children had changed markedly. Their hair was gone, their eyes were half globes of darkness without lids, their bodies had merged into one speckled body with 2 heads. He called down to them, "Children, swim up here to me." Both heads spoke at once, saying, "Father, I am different, different, different." Warwingspa's 5 days of prayers and ascetic had assisted in the recovery of his one remaining child. The boy had only white scars to show that the hullock had seen him. On that last day of the father's prayer, fast and swimming, the son came with his mothers to the lake shore. Together they pulled on the hazel cord. For the last time, Warwingspa was drawn out of the water. He clung to his wife and son, and the feather headdress fell off to the ground. All he could say was, "The children belong forever to the hullock. Weep, my wife, weep, my only son. Weep, for they are different, different, different." There we are. So I read that story when I was quite young, and you can probably see why it stuck with me. Yeah, that's one that I really like. It's a little bit different from the Kelpie stories. Oh, let's have a look at what other ones are in this book. Ooh, We get a story that doesn't involve harm to children. I think most of these stories don't involve harm to children. There's some Irish ones in here. What's this one? Greece? No. Children of Loki? Do that one. Do you want to hear about Children of Loki? Oh, this is a long one. Wow. Hey, this one has a version of the Sea Creed and the Dragon Fafnir. Okay, no, we'll do Children of Loki, and I'll probably call it for the night. Okay. Now, in the city of Asgard dwelt one called Loki, who, though amongst the Aesir, was not of the Aesir, but utterly unlike to them. For to do the wrong and to leave the right undone was, night and day, this wicked Loki's one unwearied aim. How he came amongst the Aesir no one knew, nor even whence he came. Once, when Odin questioned him on the subject, Loki stoutly declared that there had been a time when he was innocent and noble purposed like the Aesir themselves, but that, after many wanderings up and down the earth, it had been his misfortune, Loki said, to discover the half-burnt heart of a woman. Since when, continued he, I became what you now see me, Odin. As this was too fearful a story for anyone to wish to hear twice over, Odin never questioned him again. Whilst the Aesir were building their city, Loki, instead of helping them, had been continually running over to Jotunheim to make friends amongst the giants and wicked witches of the place. Now, amongst the witches, there was one so fearful to behold in her sin and her cruelty that one would have thought it impossible even for one such as Loki to find any pleasure in her companionship. Nevertheless, so it was that he married her, and they lived together a long time, making each other worse and worse out of the abundance of their own wicked hearts, and bringing up their 3 children to be the plague, dread, and misery of mankind. These 3 children were just what they might have been expected to be from their parentage and education. The eldest was Jormungand, a monstrous serpent, the second Fenrir, the most ferocious of wolves, and the third was Hela, half corpse, half queen. When Loki and his witch wife looked at their fearful progeny, they thought within themselves, what would the Aesir say if they could see? But they cannot see, said Loki, and lest they should suspect witch wife, I will go back to Asgard for a little while and salute old Father Odin bravely, as if I held no secret here. So saying, Loki wished his wife good morning, bade her hide the children securely indoors, and set forth on the road to Asgard. But all the time he was travelling, Loki's children went on growing, and long before he had reached the lofty city, Jormungand had become so large that his mother was obliged to open the door and let his tail out. At first it hung only a little way across the road, but he grew, oh how fearfully Jormungand grew. Whether it was from sudden exposure to the air, I do not know, but in a single day he grew from one end of Jotunheim to the other, and early next morning began to shoot out in the direction of Asgard. Luckily, however, just at that moment Odin caught sight of him, when, from the top of the air throne, the eyes of this vigilant ruler were taking their morning walk. Now, said Odin, it is quite clear, Frigga, that I must remain in idleness no longer at Asgard, for monsters are bred up in Jotunheim, and the earth has need of me. So saying, descending instantly from the air throne, Odin went forth from Asgard's golden gates to tread the earth of common men, fighting to pierce through Jotunheim and slay its monstrous sins. In his journeyings, Odin mixed freely with the people of the countries through which he passed, shared with them toil and pleasure, war and grief, taught them out of his own large experience, inspired them with noble thoughts and exalted them by his example. Even to the oldest he could teach much, and in the evening, when the labours of the day were ended and the sun cast slanting rays upon the village green, it was pleasant to see the sturdy village youths grouped round that noble chief, hanging open-mouthed upon his words as he told them of his great fight with the giant of long ago, and then, pointing towards Jotunheim, explaining to them how that fight was not yet over, for that giants and monsters grew round them on every side, and they too might do battle bravely and be heroes and Aesir of the earth. One evening, after thus drinking in his burning words, they all trooped together to the village smithy, and Odin forged for them all night arms and armour, instructing them at the same time in their use. In the morning he said, Farewell, farewell, children. I have further to go than you can come, but do not forget me when I am gone, nor how to fight as I have taught you. Never cease to be true and brave. Never turn your arms against one another, and never turn them away from the giant and the oppressor. Then the villagers returned to their homes and their field labour, and Odin pressed on, through trackless, uninhabited woods, up silent mountains, over the lonely ocean, until he reached that strange, mysterious meeting place of sea and sky. There, brooding over the waters like a grey sea fog, sat Mimir, guardian of the well where wit and wisdom lie hidden. I'm probably pronouncing all these names wrong. I did study Old Norse for a very short time, but I don't remember any of it. Mimir, said Odin, going up to him boldly, let me drink of the waters of wisdom. Truly, Odin, answered Mimir, it is a great treasure that you seek, and one which many have sought before, but who, when they knew the price of it, turned back. Then replied Odin, I would give my right hand for wisdom willingly. Nay, rejoined the remorseless Mimir, it is not your right hand, but your right eye you must give. Odin was very sorry when he heard the words of Mimir, and yet he did not deem the price too great, for plucking out his right eye and casting it from him, he received in return a draught of the fathomless deep. As Odin gave back the horn into Mimir's hand, he felt as if there were a fountain of wisdom springing up within him, an inward light for which you may be sure he never grudged having given his perishable eye. Now also he knew what it was necessary. Okay, sorry, this sentence is weird. Now also he knew what it was necessary for him to do in order to become a really noble Asa, and that was to push on to the extreme edge of the earth itself and peep over into Niflheim. Odin knew it was precisely that he must do, and precisely that he did. Onward and northward he went over icebound seas, through twilight, fog and snow, right onward in the face of winds that were like swords, until he came into the unknown land, where sobs and sighs and sad unfinished shapes were drifting up and down. Then, said Odin thoughtfully, I have come to the end of all creation, and a little further on Niflheim must lie. Accordingly, he pushed on further and further until he reached the earth's extremest edge, where, lying down and leaning over from its last cold peak, he looked into the gulf below. It was Niflheim. At first, Odin imagined that it was only empty darkness, but, after hanging there 3 nights and days, his eye fell on one of Yggdrasil's mighty stems. Yggdrasil was the old earth tree whose roots sprang far and wide, from Jotunheim, from above, and this, the oldest of the 3, out of Niflheim. Odin looked long upon its time-worn, knotted fibres, and watched how they were forever gnawed by Nidhogg, the envious serpent, and his brood of poisonous diseases. Then he wondered what he should see next, and one by one spectres arose from Nastrond, the shore of corpses, arose and wandered pale, naked, nameless, and without a home. Then Odin looked down deeper into the abyss of abysses, and saw all its shapeless, nameless ills, whilst far below him, deeper than Nastrond, Yggdrasil, and Nidhogg, roared Hvergelmir, the boiling cauldron of evil. 9 nights and days his brave, wise Asa hung over Niflheim, pondering. More brave and more wise, he turned away from it than when he came. It is true that he sighed often on his road thence to Jotunheim, but it is not always thus. That wisdom and strength come to us weeping. When, at length, Odin found himself in the land of giants, frost giants, mountain giants, and 3-headed and wolf-headed giants, monsters and iron witches of every kind, he walked straight on, without stopping to fight with any one of them, until he came to the middle of Jormungand's body. Then he seized the monster, growing fearfully as he was all the time, and threw him headlong into the deep ocean. There Jormungand still grew until, encircling the whole earth, he found that his tail was growing down his throat, after which he lay quite still, binding himself together, and neither Odin nor anyone else has been able to move him thence. When Odin had thus disposed of Jormungand, henceforth called the Midgard Serpent, he went on to the house of Loki's wife. The door was thrown open, and the wicked witch-mother sat in the entrance, whilst on one side crouched Fenrir, her ferocious wolf-son, and on the other stood Hela, most terrible of monsters and women. A crowd of giants strode after Odin, curious to obtain a glance of Loki's strange children before they would be sent away. At Fenrir and the witch-mother they stared with great eyes, joyfully and savagely glittering. But when he looked at Hela, each giant became as pale as new snow, as cold with terror as a mountain of ice. Pale, cold, frozen, they never moved again, but a rugged chain of rocks stood behind Odin, and he looked on, fearless and unchilled. "Strange daughter of Loki," he said, speaking to Hela, "you have the head of a queen, proud forehead and large imperial eyes, but your heart is pulseless, and your cruel arms kill what they embrace. Without doubt you have somewhere a kingdom, not where the sun shines and men breathe the free air, but down below in infinite depths, where bodiless spirits wander and the cast-off corpses are cold." Then Odin pointed downwards toward Niflheim, and Hela sank right through the earth, downward, downward to that abyss of abysses, where she ruled over spectres and made for herself a home called Helheim, 9 lengthy kingdoms wide and deep. After this, Odin desired Fenrir to follow him, promising that if he became tractable and obedient and exchanged his ferocity for courage, he should not be banished as his brother and sister had been. So Fenrir followed, and Odin led the way out of Jotunheim, across the sea, over the earth, until he came to the heavenly hills, which held up the southern sky tenderly in their glittering arms. There, half on the mountain top and half in air, sat Heimdall, guardian of the tremulous bridge Bifrost that arches from earth to heaven. Heimdall was a tall white van with golden teeth, a wonderful horn called the Gila horn, which he generally kept hidden under the tree Yggdrasil, but when he blew it, the sound went out into all worlds. Now, Odin had never been introduced to Heimdall, had never even seen him before, but he did not pass him by without speaking on that account. On the contrary, being altogether much struck by his appearance, he could not refrain from asking him a few questions. First, he requested to know whom he had the pleasure of addressing. Secondly, who his parents were and what his education had been. And thirdly, how he explained his present circumstance and occupation. "My name is Heimdall," answered the guardian of Bifrost, "and the son of 9 sisters am I. Born in the beginning of time, at the boundaries of the earth, I was fed on the strength of the earth and the cold sea. My training, moreover, was so perfect that I now need no more sleep than a bird. I can see for 100 miles around me as well as by night as by day. I can hear the grass growing and the wool on the backs of sheep. I can blow mightily in my horn Gjallar, and I forever guard the tremulous bridgehead against monsters, giants, iron witches, and dwarves." Then asked Odin gravely, Is it also forbidden to the Aesir to pass this way, Heimdall? Must you guard Bifrost also against them?" "Assuredly not," answered Heimdall. "All Aesir and heroes are free to tread its trembling, many-coloured pavement, and they will do well to tread it, for above the arch's summit I know that the Urda fountain springs, rises and falls in a perpetual glitter, and by its sacred waters the Nornir dwell, those 3 mysterious, mighty maidens, those whose cold fingers run the golden threads of time. Enough, Heimdall. Tomorrow we will come." Odin departed from Heimdall and went on his way, Fenrir obediently following, though not now much noticed by his captor, who pondered over the new wonders of which he had heard. Bifrost, Urda, and the Norns. What can they mean? Thus pondering and wondering he went, ascended Asgard's hill, walked through the golden gates of the city into the palace of Gladsheim and into the hall of Valhalla, where just then the Aesir and Asunur were assembled at their evening meal. Odin sat down to the table without speaking, and, still absent and meditative, proceeded to carve the great boar, Sirumnir, which, every evening eaten, was every morning whole again. No one thought of disturbing him by asking any questions, for they saw that something was on his mind, and the Aesir were well bred. It is probable, therefore, that the supper would have been concluded in perfect silence if Fenrir had not poked his nose in at the doorway, just opposite to the seat of the lovely Freya. She, genius of beauty as she was, and who had never in her whole life seen even the shadow of a wolf, covered her face with her hands and screamed a little, which caused all the Aesir to start and turn round in order to see what was the matter. But Odin directed a reproving glance at the ill-mannered Fenrir, and then he gave orders that the wolf should be fed. After which, concluded he, I will relate my adventures to the assembled Aesir. That is all very well, Aesir Odin, answered Frey, but who, let me ask, is to undertake the office of feeding yon hideous, unmannered animal? That will I, joyfully, cried Tyr, who liked nothing better than an adventure. And then, seizing a plate of meat from the table, he ran out of the hall, followed by Fenrir, who howled and sniffed and jumped up at him in a most impatient, un-Aesir-like manner. After the wolf was gone, Freya looked up again. When Tyr was seated once more, Odin began. He told them of everything that he had seen and done and suffered, and last of Heimdall, that strange white van who sat upon the heavenly hills, and spoke of Bifrost and Urda and the Norns. The Aesir were very silent whilst Odin spoke to them, and were deeply and strangely moved by the conclusion to his discourse. The Norns, repeated Frigga, the fountain of Urd, the golden threads of time. Let us go, my children, she said, rising from the table. Let us go and look at these things. But Odin advised that they should wait until the next day, as the journey to Bifrost and back again could easily be accomplished in a single morning. Accordingly, the next day the Aesir and the Asinur all rose with the sun and prepared to set forth. Njord came forth from Noatun, the mild sea coast which he had made his home, and with continual gentle puffings of his wide, breezy mouth, he made their journey to Bifrost so easy and pleasant that they all felt a little sorry when they caught the first glitter of Heimdall's golden teeth. But Heimdall was glad to see them, glad at least for their sakes. He thought it would be so good for them to go and see the Norns. As far as he himself was concerned, he never felt dull alone. On top of those bright hills, how many meditations he had. Looking far and wide over the earth, how much he saw and heard. Come already, said Heimdall to the Aesir, stretching out his long white hands to welcome them. Come already. Ah, this is Njord's doing. How do you do, cousin? He said, for Njord and Heimdall were related. How sweet and fresh it is up here, remarked Frigga, looking all round and feeling that it would be polite to say something. You are very happy, sir, continued she, in having always such fine scenery about you, and it being the guardian of such a bridge. And in truth, Frigga might well say such a bridge, for the like of it was never seen on the ground. Trembling and glittering, it swung across the sky, up from the top of the mountains to the clouds, and down again into the distant sea. Bifrost, Bifrost, exclaimed the Aesir wonderingly, and Heimdall was pleased at their surprise. At the arch's highest point, said he, pointing upwards, rises that fountain of which I spoke. Do you wish to see it today? That we do indeed, cried all the Aesir in a breath. Quick, Heimdall, and unlock the bridge's golden gate. Then Heimdall took all his keys out, and fitted them into the diamond lock till he found the right one, and the gate flew open with a sound at the same time sad and cheerful, like the dripping of leaves after a thunder shower. The Aesir pressed in, but, as they passed him, Heimdall laid his hand upon Thor's shoulder and said, I am very sorry, Thor, but it cannot be helped. You must go to the fountain alone by another way, for you are so strong and heavy that if you were to put your foot on Bifrost, either it would tremble in pieces beneath your weight, or take fire from the friction of your iron heels. Yonder, however, are two river clouds, called Kormt and Ermt, through which you can wade up to the sacred Urd, and you will assuredly reach it in time, though the waters of the clouds are strong and deep. At the words of Heimdall, Thor fell back from the bridge's head, vexed and sorrowful. Am I to be sent away, then, and have to do disagreeable things, said he, just because I am so strong? After all, what are Urda and the Norns to me, and Kormt and Ermt? I will go back to Asgard again. Nay, Thor, said Odin. I pray you, do not anything so foolish. Think again, I beseech you, what it is we are going to see and hear. Kormt and Ermt lie before you, as Bifrost lies before us. It is yonder, above both, that we go. Neither can it much matter, Thor, whether we reach the fountain of Urd over Bifrost or through the cloud. Then Thor blushed with shame at his own weakness, which had made him regret his strength, and, without any more grumbling or hanging back, he plunged into the dreadful river clouds, whose dark vapours closed around him and covered him. He was hidden from sight, and the Aesir went on their way over the glittering bridge. Daintily and airily they trod over it, they swung themselves up the swinging arch, they reached its summit on the pale, bright cloud. Thor was already there, waiting for them, drenched and weary, but cheerful and bold. Then, altogether, they knocked at the door of the pale, bright cloud. It blew open and they passed in. Oh, then what did they see? Looking up to an infinite height through the purple air, they saw, towering above them, Yggdrasil's fairest branches, leafy and of a tender green, which also stretched far and wide, but, though they looked long, the Aesir could distinguish no topmost bough, and it almost seemed to them that, from somewhere up above, this mighty earth tree must draw another root, so firmly and so tall it grew. On one side stood the palace of the Norns, which was so bright that it almost blinded them to look at, and on the other the the Urda fountain splashed its cool waters, rising, falling, glittering, as nothing ever glitters on this side of the clouds. 2 ancient swans swam under the fount, and around it sat 3. How shall I describe them? Urd, Vendandi, Skuld. They were mighty, they were willful, and one was veiled. Sitting upon the doomstead, they watched the water as it rose and fell, and passed golden threads to one another. Sorry, lost my place there. So these are the Norns that we're describing. They were mighty, they were willful, one was veiled. Sitting upon the doomstead, they watched the water as it rose and fell, and passed golden threads from one to another. Verdandi plucked them with busy fingers from a skull's reluctant hand, and wove them in and out quickly, almost carelessly. For some she tore and blemished, and some she cruelly spoiled. Then Urd took the woof away from her, smoothed its rough places, and covered up some of the torn, gaping holes, but she hid away many of the bright parts too, and then rolled it all around her great roller, Oblivion, which grew rolled it round her great roller, Oblivion, which grew thicker and heavier every moment. And so they went on, Verdandi drawing from Skuld, and Urd from Verdandi. But whence Skuld drew her separate bright threads no one could see. She never seemed to reach the end of them, and neither of the sisters ever stopped or grew weary of her work. The Aesir stood apart watching, and it was a great sight. They looked in the face of Urd and fed on wisdom. They studied the countenance of Verdandi and drank bitter strength. They glanced through the veil of Skuld and tasted hope. At length, with full hearts, they stole away silently, one by one, out by the pale open door and recrossed the bridge, and stood once more by the side of Heimdall on the heavenly hills. Then they went home again. Nobody spoke as they went, but ever afterwards it was an understood thing that the Aesir should fare to the doomstead of the Nornir once in every day. Years passed. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to take a quick drink. Years passed after Odin had brought Fenrir home with him to Asgard. All this time, Odin entertained some hope that the wholesome, bright air of Gladsheim, the sight of the fair faces of the Asinur, and the hearing of the brave words which day by day fell from the lips of heroes would perhaps have power to change the cruel nature Fenrir had inherited from his father, to make him worthy of his place as a dweller in the City of Lords. To Tyr, the brave and strong-handed, Odin assigned the task of feeding Fenrir and watching him, lest in his cruel strength he should injure any who were unable to defend themselves. And truly it was a grand sight, and one that Asa Odin loved, to see the two together, when, in the evening after the feast was over in Valhalla, Fenrir came prowling to Tyr's feet to receive his food from the one hand strong enough to quell him. Tyr stood up in his calm strength like a tall sheltering rock in which the timid seabirds find a home, and Fenrir roared and howled round him like the bitter, destroying wave that slowly undermines its base. Time passed on. Tyr had reached the prime of his strength, but Fenrir went on growing, not so rapidly as to waken fear, as his brother Jormungand had done, but slowly, surely, continually, a little stronger and a little fiercer every day. The Aesir and the Asinur had become accustomed to his presence. The gentlest lady in Asgard no longer turned away from the sight of his fierce mouth and fiery eyes. They talked to each other about the smallest things, and every daily event was commented on and wondered about, but no one said anything of Fenrir, or noticed how gradually he grew, or how the glad air and the strong food, which gave valour and strength to an Asa, could only develop with greater rapidity, fierceness and cruelty in a wolf. And they would have gone on living securely together while the monster grew and grew, if it had not been that Asa Odin's one eye, enlightened as it was by the upspringing well of wisdom within, saw more clearly than the eyes of his brothers and children. One evening, as he stood in the court of Valhalla, watching Tyr as he gave Fenrir his evening meal, a sudden cloud of care fell upon the placid face of Allfather, and when the wolf, having satisfied his hunger, crouched back to his lair, he called together a council of the heads of the Aesir, Thor, Tyr, Bragi, Honir, Frey, and Njord, and, after pointing out to them the evil which they had allowed to grow up among them unnoticed, he asked their counsel as the best way of overcoming it before it became too strong to withstand. Oh, I just noticed a hydrate in the chat. Sip, sip. Thor, always ready, was the first to answer. One would think, he said, to hear the grave way in which you speak, Father Odin, that there was no such thing as a smithy near Asgard, nor that I, Asa Thor, had no power to forge mighty weapons, and had never made my known in Jotunheim as the conqueror and binder of monsters. Set your mind at rest. Before tomorrow evening at this time I will have forged a chain with which you shall bind Fenrir, and, once bound in a chain of my workmanship, there will be nothing further to fear from him. The assembled Aesir applauded Thor's speech, but the cloud did not pass away from Odin's brow. You have done many mighty deeds, son Thor, he said, but if I mistake not, this binding of Fenrir will prove a task too difficult even for you. Thor made no answer, but he seized Mjolnir and with sounding steps strode to the smithy. All night long the mighty blows of Mjolnir rang on the anvil, and the roaring bellows breathed a hot blast over all the hill of Asgard. None of the Aesir slept that night, but every now and then one or other of them came to cheer Thor at his work. Sometimes Frey brought his bright face into the dusky smithy. Sometimes Tyr entreated permission to strike a stout blow. Sometimes Bragi seated himself among the workers and, with his eyes fixed on the glowing iron, poured forth a hero's song to which the ringing blows kept time. There was also another guest who, at intervals, made his presence known. By the light of the fire the evil form of Fenrir was seen prowling round in the darkness, and every now and then a fiendish mocking laugh filled the pauses of the song and the wind and the ringing hammer. All that night and the next day Thor laboured and Fenrir watched, and at the time of the evening meal Thor strode triumphantly into Father Odin's presence and laid before him leading, the strongest chain that had ever been forged on earth. The Aesir passed it from one to another and wondered at its immense length and the ponderous moulding of its twisted links. It is impossible for Fenrir to break through this, they said, and they were loud in their thanks to Thor and praises of his prowess. Only Father Odin kept a grave, sad silence. When Fenrir came into the court to receive his food from Tyr, it was agreed that Thor and Tyr were to seize and bind him. They held their weapons in readiness, for they expected a fierce struggle, but to their surprise, Fenrir quietly allowed the chain to be wound round him, and lay down at his ease, while Thor, with 2 strokes of Mjolnir, riveted the last link into one of the strongest stones on which the court rested. Then, when the Aesir were about to congratulate each other on their victory, he slowly raised his ponderous form, which seemed to dilate in the rising. With one bound forward, snapped the chain like a silken thread, and walked leisurely to his lair, as if no unusual thing had befallen him. The Aesir, with downcast faces, stood looking at each other. Once more Thor was the first to speak. He who breaks through leading, he said, only brings upon himself the still harder bondage of Dromi. And having uttered these words, he again lifted Mjolnir from the ground, and, weary as he was, returned to the smithy and resumed his place at the anvil. For 3 days and nights Thor worked, and when once more he appeared before Father Odin, he carried in his hand Dromi, the strong binding. This chain exceeded lading in strength by 1/2, and was so heavy that Asa Thor himself staggered under its weight. And yet Fenrir showed no fear of allowing himself to be bound by it, and it cost him very little more effort than on the first evening to free himself from its fetters. After this second failure, Odin again called a council of Aesir in Gladsheim, and Thor stood among the others, silent and shamefaced. It was now Frey who ventured first to offer an opinion. Thor, Tyr, and other brave sons of the Aesir, he said, have passed their lives valiantly in fighting against giants and monsters, and doubtless much wise lore has come to them through these adventures. I, for the most part, have spent my time peacefully in woods and fields, watching how the seasons follow each other, and how the silent, dewy night ever leads up the brightly smiling day. And in this watching, many things have been made plain to me which have not, perhaps, been thought worthy of regard by my brother lords. One thing that I have learned is the wondrous strength that lies in little things, and that the labour carried on in darkness and silence ever brings forth the grandest birth. Thor and Mjolnir have failed to forge a chain strong enough to bind Fenrir, but since we cannot be helped by the mighty and renowned, let us turn to the unknown and the weak. In the caverns and dim places of the earth live a tiny race of people who are always working with unwearied, noiseless fingers. With Asa Odin's permission, I will send my messenger Skirnir and entreat aid of them, and we shall perhaps find that what passes the might of Asgard might be accomplished in the secret places of Svartheim. The face of Asa Odin brightened as Frey spoke, and, rising immediately from his seat, he broke up the council and entreated Frey to lose no time in returning to Alfheim and dispatching Skirnir on his mission. In spite of the cloud that hung over Asgard, all was fair and peaceful in Alfheim. Gerda, the radiant elf queen, made their perpetual sunshine with her bright face. The little elves loved her and fluttered round her, keeping a continual merry chatter which sounded through the land like the sharp ripple of a brook over stony places. And Gerda answered them in low, sweet tones as the answering wind sounds among the trees. These must have been pleasant sounds to hear after the ringing of Mjolnir and the howling of Fenrir, but Frey hardly gave himself time to greet Gerd and his elves before he summoned Skirnir to his presence and acquainted him with the danger that hung over Asgard and the important mission which the Aesir had determined to trust to his sagacity. Skirnir listened, playing with the knot of his wondrous sword, as he was wont to do in order to make known to everyone that he possessed it, for, to confess the truth, it was somewhat too heavy for him to wield. "This is a far different mission," he said, "from that on which you once sent me to woo fairest Gerd. But as the welfare of Asgard requires it, I will depart at once, though I have little liking for the dark caves and cunning people." Frey thanked him, and, putting a small key into his hand, which was indeed the key to the gate of Svartheim, he bade him farewell, and Skirnir set out on his journey. The road from Alfheim to Svartheim is not as long as you would be apt to imagine. Indeed, it is possible for a careless person to wander from one region to another without being at once aware of it. Skirnir, having the key in his hand, took the direct way. The entrance gate stands at the opening of a dim mountain cave. Skirnir left his horse without and entered. The air was heavy, moist and warm, and it required the keenest glances of Skirnir's keen eyes to see his way. Innumerable narrow, winding paths, all leading downwards, opened themselves before him. As he followed the widest, a faint clinking sound of hammers met his ear, and looking round, he saw groups of little men at work on every side. Some were wheeling small wheelbarrows full of lumps of shining metal along the ledges of rock. Some, with elfin pickaxes and spades, were digging ore from the mountainside. Some, herded together in little caves, were busy kindling fires or working with tiny hammers on small anvils. As he continued his downward path, the last remnant of daylight faded away, but he was not in total darkness, for now he perceived that each worker carried on his head a lantern, in which burned a pale, dancing light. Skirnir knew that each light was a will-o'-the-wisp, which the dwarf who carried it had caught and imprisoned to light in his work during the day, and which he must restore to the earth at night. For many miles Skirnir wandered on lower and lower. On every side of him lay countless heaps of treasure, gold, silver, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, which the cunning workers stowed away silently in their dark hiding places. At length he came to the very middle of the mountain, where the rocky roof rose to an immense height, and where he found himself in a brilliantly lighted place. Here, in truth, were hung all the lights in the world, which on dark, moonless nights are carried out by dwarves to deceive the eyes of men. Corpse lights, will-o'-the-wisps, the sparks from glowworms' tails, the light in fireflies' wings. These, carefully hung up in tiers round and round the hall, illuminated the palace with a cold blue light, and revealed to Skirnir's eyes the grotesque and hideous shapes of the tiny beings around him. Hump-backed, cunning-eyed, open-mouthed, they stood round laughing and whispering and pointing with shriveled fingers. One among them, a little taller than the rest, who sat on a golden seat thickly set with diamonds, appeared to be a kind of chief among them, and to him Skirnir addressed his message. Cunning and wicked as these dwarves were, they entertained a wholesome fear of Odin, having never gotten their one interview with him in Gladsheim, and therefore, when they heard from whom Skirnir came, with many uncouth gesticulations they bowed low before him, and declared themselves willing to obey all Father's commands. They asked for 2 days and 2 nights in which to complete their task, and during that time Skirnir remained their guest in Svartheim. He wandered about, and saw strange sights. He saw the great Earth's central fire, and the swarthy, withered race whose task it was to ceaselessly feed it with fuel. He saw the diamond makers, who changed the ashes of the great fire into brilliance, and the dwarfs whose business it is to fill the cracks in the mountainsides with pure veins of silver and gold and lead, and lead them up to places where they will one day meet the eyes of men. Nearer the surface, he visited the workers in iron and the makers of salt mines. He drank of their strange-tasting mineral waters and admired the splendour of their silver-roofed temples and dwellings of solid gold. At the end of 2 days, Skirnir re-entered the audience hall, and then the chief of the dwarves put into his hand a slender chain. You can imagine what size it was when I tell you that the dwarf chief held it lightly balanced on his forefinger, and when it rested on Skirnir's hand it felt to him no heavier than a piece of thistledown. The Svart king laughed loud when he saw the disappointment on Skirnir's face. It seems to you a little thing, he said, and yet I assure you that in making it we have used up all the materials in the world fit for the purpose. No such chain can ever be made again, neither will the least atom of the substances of which it is made be found once more. It is fashioned out of 6 things: the noise made by the footfall of cats, the beards of women, the roots of stones, the sinews of bears, the breath of fish, and the spittle of birds. Fear not with this to bind Fenrir, for no stronger chain will ever be made till the end of the world. Skirnir now looked with wonder at this chain, and, after having thanked the dwarves and promised to bring them a reward from Odin, he set forth on his road home, and by the time of the evening meal reached Valhalla, and gladdened the hearts of the Aesir by the tidings of his success. Far away, to the north of Asgard, surrounded by frowning mountains, the dark lake Amsvartnir lies, and, above the level of its troubled waters, burns Lyngvi, the island of sweet broom. Yeah, it's a nice little image, isn't it? I think there's something similar in the Kalevala, which I will get to at some point. I have on my shelf right here. Anyway, far away to the north of Asgard, surrounded by frowning mountains, the dark lake Amsvartnir lies, and above the level of its troubled waters burns Lyngvi, the island of sweet broom, flaming like a jewel on the dark brow of Hela. In this lonely isle, to which no ship but Skidbladnir could sail, the Aesir, with Fenrir in the midst, assembled to try the strength of the dwarves' chain. Fenrir prowled round his old master Tyr with a look of savage triumph in his cruel eyes, now licking the hand that had so long fed him, and now shaking his great head and howling defiantly. The Aesir stood at the foot of Gjoll, the sounding rock, and passed Gleipnir, the chain, from one to another, talking about it, while Fenrir listened. It was much stronger than it looked, they said, and Thor and Tyr vied with each other in their efforts to break it, while Bragi declared his belief that there was no one among Aesir or giants capable of performing so great a feat, unless, he added, it should be you, Fenrir. This speech roused the pride of Fenrir, and after looking long at the slender chain and the faces of the Aesir, he answered, Loath am I to be bound by this chain, but, lest you should doubt my courage, I will consent that you should bind me, provided one of you put his hand into my mouth as a pledge that no deceit is intended. There was a moment's silence among the Aesir when they heard this, and they looked at one another. Odin looked at Thor, and Thor looked at Bragi, and Frey fell behind, put his hand to his side, where the all-conquering sword which he alone could wield no longer rested. At length, Tyr stepped forward valiantly, and put his strong right hand, with which he had so often fed him, into the wolf's cruel jaws. At this signal, the other Aesir threw the chain round the monster's neck, bound him securely with one end, and fastened the other to the great rock Gjoll. When he was bound, Fenrir rose and shook himself as he had done, but in vain he raised himself up and bounded forward. The more he struggled, the more firmly the slender chain bound him. At this sight, the Aesir set up a loud shout of joy, for they saw their enemy conquered and the danger that threatened Asgard averted. Only Tyr was silent, for in the struggle he had lost his hand. Then Thor thrust his sword into the mouth of Fenrir, and a foaming dark flood burst forth, roared down the rock and under the lake, and began its course through the country, a turbid river. So it will roll on till Ragnarok become. The sails of Skidbladnir now spread themselves out to the wind, and the Aesir, seated in the magic ship, floated over the lake silently in the silent moonlight. Okay, that was a bad sentence. Silently in the silent moonlight, while from the top of Bifrost, over the Urda fount and the dwelling of the Norns, a song floated down. Who, asked one voice, of all the Aesir has won the highest honour? And singing, another voice made answer, Tyr has won the highest honour, for of all the Aesir, he has the most worthily employed his gift. Frey gave his sword for fairest gird. Odin bought for himself wisdom at the price of his right eye. Tyr, not for himself, but for others, has sacrificed his strong right hand. And there we are. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Went on way longer than I was expecting. It has gotten late. Yeah, it's gotten very late. I hope you all had a good time. I want to read the Kalevala at some point, honestly. I want to read the Kalevala, but it's a long book. It's a long. This is volume 1, and it's 300. Oh, admittedly, a lot of it is. It's a lot. It's like 300 and something pages. Well, I had a lot of fun. I always enjoy these storytime streams. I do always really like them. But yeah, I'm glad you had fun as well. I'm not going to be streaming on Friday. I have real life business to attend to. So next stream is going to be next Tuesday, when I'll be playing something. Haven't decided yet. Might be more Monster Hunter with Diana. We'll see. Excuse me. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna disappear, have something to eat, and go to bed. I hope you all have like a really lovely evening. Rest of your day, whatever time it is where you are. I hope you're relaxed. I hope you're. Just hope you have a nice time. And until Tuesday. Chimia Rishchev. Zara.